versus before. Because like I'm like my OCD's kicking in right now, and I'm watching the microphone levels. It goes from 100 to like 93 to 87.
You're fine. You sound. It must be processing for you, but you sound fine. You sound consistent.
No, it does. It auto adjusts. Yeah. I can't change it, but I sound the same right now as I do. Right now, I sound the same as I do right now.
Yes. Yes.
Right now. Right now, sound the same as I do right now.
Yep.
Really?
Right now.
No, because it goes from 85 to 100, and it doesn't automatically adjust back up. That's annoying. It should adjust 15, back up.
15 doesn't matter. It's such a minuscule number. It's not going to affect anything.
Except the 15 in my pants. That ain't minuscule. 15 centimeters.
And, of course, you're measuring from the back of your balls.
Back of my balls? I measured from the back of my anus.
Ooh, yeah.
What a way to open the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're recording. They get to hear my... They get to hear my
OCD. Everybody knows. Hello.
High patrons like it's any other people on there besides patrons.
It's nice to say the word patrons, though.
Yeah.
Listeners.
But no, I literally forgot for a second that it's only patrons who are listening.
We're talking like we're Mexican today. You know?
Okay.
You know how Mexican... That's what's funny. JP does something that's stereotypical Mexican. Okay, it's funny. He doesn't realize it. He doesn't say 22 shots. He says 22 shots when he talks about his show. Because I always joked about that. How when Mexicans talk, they always put the emphasis on a different part of a conversation. Like a friend of mine, for years, I used to call him a Mexican. He's not. He's Italian and Polish. But he used to, instead of saying, yeah, last night I was watching TV. Not TV. TV. He put the emphasis on the T instead of the V. So I said, what are you, Mexican? I used to tell him. So that was for the year that, for years that was the joke. But you guys get what I'm talking about?
JP also does something else very Mexican. He uses the Home Depot parking lot as a bus station.
JP is one day going to
you can tell Christian's not feeling well.
I am not feeling well.
Yeah, because usually he's laughing. I'm like,
The last time I wasn't feeling well, I think I was down here wearing a hoodie as well, trying to sweat it out.
Well, guys... It may be a short show then. And
that skeleton in the back is looking better than Christian right now. You should put that.
Like coming out of my look at it, it's sweating out of my pores here. It's working.
That's good.
This should help it.
They actually say.
Oh, that's nice.
No joke, because when I got really sick once, I bundled up. I was under the covers. I had a heating pad on, and I was sweating my balls off. They actually say it's better to not take off the layers. Be cold, shake, and shiver, and sweat it out. That way.
Be cold?
Yeah.
Not sweat it out. No. Shake, rattle, and roll.
Right, exactly. The honky tonk man. Yeah. And listen to Brandon, because I'm sure Dr. Lipschitz gave him all the best advice. You know? Speaking of cats in the bag, look at this. You laughed at me.
Oh, look, he's gone?
Because I talked about that trick or treats. No, listen, I talked about that trick or treats cover. When you look at that just walking by, just look real quick.
An ear in a bag.
See, I always thought it was like a cat tail. You know, did you ever see like a striped cat? You know what I mean? And they had and not just me. I would tease a friend of mine that wanted to watch the movie. I said, "You want to watch that movie? A cat in a bag?" And then I would always talk about watching it. So not just me, but other people thought that it was a cat in a bag. Can you see how it could be confused as a tail? You know?
Not at all. Maybe,
well, I gotta tell you.
Maybe a butthole.
You're gonna have to post it and get everybody the cult of Z to say yes, I agree.
Yeah, it's just like everyone saying Jamie Lee looked like a man on the cover of the Fog all of a sudden.
She always did though.
She's not her most attractive in the Fog, but
I just thought it was a man. I wasn't ragging on her. I didn't know it was Jamie Lee. Just him passing a look, and I think it was the clothes, the jacket looks like a man's jacket. Just looked like a guy. That's all I'm saying. I always thought it was until like years later. And like this, if you just see it in passing, just walking by the video aisle, yes, it could be a cat. But I mean, if I put this up and someone zoomed in on it,
you know what it looks like? It looks like one of those fake heads that the magician gives to Pee-wee in the magic shop.
Yeah, you're right. He holds it up. Yeah, you're right.
Wow, what a reference! Like that is a bizarre.
That's what it looks like. I'm staring at it through the bag. It looks exactly like that.
And it also kind of looks like a snake. Do you ever see like a coral snake? You know, like now look at it. Can't you see a snake in there?
I could see a snake in there. I could see a snake in here. I could see 2 snakes.
Oh, we're changing it from skunk to snake? Oh, yeah, fucking snake.
S. People with names with S's are snakes. Yeah. Episode 120. Welcome to it.
Yeah. Holy shit. I got to tell you.
All right. Welcome.
To start this show, though, I went, I had to drop my daughter off at dance earlier, as Saturdays are kind of crazy, as I mentioned to you guys in chat. But the reality is, I don't even know where that came from. On the way back, a song came off my playlist, and I hadn't heard it in ages, and I fucking love it. It's not even really a song; it's just a track. Do you remember Dave Toole, "Message to Harry Manback"? It's from.
This is a joke, I'm sure.
No, it's not. It's not a joke.
You have Harry Manback?
Message to Harry Manback. It's not. Of course, it's Tool playing with the name.
Whoa. Hold on.
Yes.
When you said Dave, I didn't realize you were speaking directly. I thought you were saying about 2 other people. Do you remember Dave Toole, Message to Harry Manback?
Oh, God.
That's what I heard it as. Okay, now I know what you're talking about.
Oh, my God. This is
Dave, you know that Tool song, Message to... Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Fuck you. Fucking America. Yeah.
If you don't know it, Brandon, you got to listen to it. Write it down. Message to Harry Manback. It's literally an answering machine message from an irate Italian guy speaking a little bit in Italian and a little bit in broken English. And they put this haunting piano track in the background. And it's haunting. It's somewhat freaky because of what he's saying and hilarious. All rolled into one.
Absolutely.
I'm scared to Google Harry Manback, though.
You
won't show up.
Okay, but the thing, don't have Brandon listen to the other one though. Fucking Der Eggs von Satan. That might really fucking scare him. You know,
that's great. That's another good one.
Yeah. You know what it is though?
It's a recipe.
You know what that song is? Yeah.
It's hilarious.
It's about eggs and shit.
That's what solidified me as a Tool fan. Because I already had Undertow, but when that album came out, every track on that is great. Every track on that, it's. I'm so glad because I had the CD for years and then I lost it or it's scratched to shit because I played the hell out of it, and they weren't on Apple Music because I guess all the litigation around music and whatever. Now they are. They've been out for like 6.
The CD? What were you playing? It on a record player?
No, I was DJing with it. Yeah.
You were mixing it.
Trying to.
You were in the 5-disc changer.
I was trying to make myself the Cenobite from Hellraiser 3.
Oh,
prick bastard, you.
Yes.
What, Butterball?
No, CD head.
I know CD Butterball. Chatterer? You look more like Chatterer tonight. I don't feel good.
I want to bite your fucking face off, Chatterer.
There should be a Butterball. We should do a spoof of Hellraiser.
Butterball turkeys?
And yes, he should be a turkey, a walking turkey that's a Cenobite with like hooks on it. That could be Butterball. That'd be awesome. And then Chatterer could be like some guy that's like, I don't know, tweaking on meth or something or some shit like that. That would be
Watson.
Funny. See? Why is Watson tweaking on meth?
It's the energy that when he comes on this show, I kind of make it look. I make it sound like a burn, but he always comes on with this height. It almost sounds like feels like he did like 5 lines of coke, and then and it's like, okay, guys, I'm here, and then he's like all into the show when he comes on. If you don't believe me, go listen back.
You know what's going to happen now, don't you? Now, when I do Wadzi with him, when he comes back and everything, he's going to come on. It's going to be the fucking quiet storm. No. Hello, this is Mr. Watson. Yes, you're going to get that in his head. He's going to get insecure, and everything's going to change about good old Watson.
Oh.
So, speaking of you causing trouble.
It worked, Brandon.
We have a listener. We have a patron, of course, Glenn Wolf. All right? He thinks that you, Christian...
Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. And he's making fun of him. He thinks you have a problem with him. And he messaged me the other day, and he says,
oh boy.
I'm getting caught up on the past shows, and I just finished the Craft show. Christian just hates every movie I pick for you guys. First Attack the Block, and now The Craft.
Oh, man, really?
Yeah,
I have come around a little bit on Attack the Block. I was in a shitty mood. I think I even admitted it afterwards. And you guys, your love for it, I'm like, yeah, it's just it's the shitty characters. I just find it hard to relate to them. But I've come around to that one, Mr.
What about
Wolf.
Stomp the Yard?
Stomp the Yard even more so. I love like tap dancing. Yeah.
Attack the block and then stomp the fucking yard.
The Craft. Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Wolf.
Well, listen to what he says.
Man,
you better say that. Listen, he says, I thought he would be the one who liked Attack the Block and he hated it. And then I figured you would be all about The Craft and he couldn't even talk about it. So, yeah, poor Glenn.
Wow, I owe Glenn a massive apology. Yeah.
Glenn doesn't thank me for arguing The Craft even though I like it, just because this skunk was so quiet the whole time.
Yeah, what a dick move that was, by the way.
No, it wasn't.
No, it would have been so much better if I could just sit here and gush on it. The guy that didn't like it was actually keeping his mouth shut, so I wouldn't have to go heads up with anybody about it. It could have been a nice, pleasant show. But instead of getting out of it because this guy kept his mouth shut, you took his spot. You go, well, someone's got to antagonize Dave. You know?
Somebody has to argue the points, the negative.
If you don't have anything nice to say, it's true that we're doing a show, so you got to talk it out. But I do love how Dave spun that around.
I wanted to pay $12 to hear Dave just gush over it and Christian be quiet. I mean, I'd pay $12 for Christian to be quiet.
That spin was almost as good as a spin I did one time. One of my good buddies went away to university, and one of his roommates or whatever had relations with a girl, and after that, the girl they made whoopee. The girl realized that she was gay or bi or whatever it may be, and she's now a lesbian and living with her wife now. So he took it really hard. He's like, oh my God, like, what have I done? Like, I mean, was it? I'm like, dude, after you, no other man could compare. So she went to a woman. And I made him feel the best he's ever felt in his life. That's a spin. I don't know where that came from, why I remembered that.
Fuck we're talking about.
So what are you going to do for Glenn?
Yeah.
He's going to turn him into a woman. He's going to spin him around.
I don't know what I'm going to do for Glenn. Yeah. Well, does he have another movie? I'll give him a movie to chat. Like, just give us a movie, Glenn. Shoot one at us.
Wow, see that? Shoot a movie.
Oh, great. Give us a movie.
Well,
give us a movie.
Everybody's going to be like, these fucking assholes talking shit about my movie pick. Yeah, Glenn, I owe you a movie. You pick a movie and I might not like it, but I'll at least be honest about it.
Maybe the third time will be a time. But he did say, because we did What We Do in the Shadows, and the way we talked about it, he decided to change it and do it for Halloween on his own podcast, because he has a podcast himself. He started one not too long ago, and he did it for a while, but then he stopped at the end of April, I think, and now they're coming back. His podcast is called Neek Life, Neek.
Oh, Neek. Okay. That's how I'll listen to the first 5 minutes of that show. Even Stephen.
Okay, but wait for the new show to come out. He says.
Joking. He's never going to listen. Uh-oh. Drink at Timmy's.
That's why I always use this. That's why I don't use coffee cups, just in case. That's the first time I've dropped it, by the way. So, and the off chance it happens, there you go.
You want to make sure that didn't startle Oreo and he didn't run away after you dropped that?
Oh boy, no. There's no animals down here, and they are all doing just fine right now.
Look at Christian. Christian might be dead by the end of the show.
I'm sweating like JP waiting for a bus in a Home Depot parking lot here. There, Brandon, I gave you credit for that joke earlier.
JP Andrika?
Yeah. He didn't call him. What did he call him? JP? He called him
I don't know.
I drank something.
JP a drink?
Anyway.
Drink? I don't know. Anyway, and speaking of podcast, I listened the other day to Beyond the Screens because it finally came out, because Holly's been talking about it, and it's been coming, and I listened to it, and I'm gonna, guys, check it out. I listened to the show. They're very review centric. They pick a movie, they come out. It's 3 of them. They come out and they do the movie. Now, here's what I like about the show. Number one, they know what they're talking about. They're good. The sound quality is good. All that stuff. They do. I don't know if they've only had 2 shows that I've heard. The first one didn't really count. It was like an introduction. The second one was their first show. They talked about the house is October built. But what they did was this. They came out and they discussed the movie the way we would discuss a movie for like 20 minutes. And then after that discussion, then they went into their actual review. That wasn't their review. That was a discussion. Then they went to a walkthrough review. So I'm not a huge fan of a walkthrough review, but if you're going to do it, I like this. They had the discussion first, and then they had the walkthrough. And they do go off the movie. They don't just stick, okay, and this happened in the movie and this happened. They do talk about other things, because they were talking about haunted houses and different experiences they had. So I just wanted to put it over to check out that show. So there you go. Another person.
What was Glenn Wolf's show again? Just because I think I interrupted, so I want to make sure that we get the name out there.
Oh,
I mean, seriously, because I made it. No, that's not Glenn Wolf's show.
Oh, Neek Life. Neek.
Cool.
Yes.
Neek Life.
And somebody, who was it? Tyler recorded the his podcast the other day. I mean, it's not out yet, but it's been recorded, so that's kind of cool.
You went on a whole rant last episode about once people start doing their own show, they give a fuck about the shows they're listening to. So, Tyler, that better not be you.
Hey, Tyler, if you stop giving a fuck, just continue to be a patron, at least.
Just leave your credit card alone.
We'll miss you.
You can fuck off. Just leave your credit card on the account.
Right. At least we have that going for us if he decides to bail and stick. Maybe he'll just stick around out of guilt. Oh, I feel terrible. I'm not listening or talking to those guys anymore, but I'll still give him this.
I want to shout out, we've done it before, but because they never think I listen, Heather and Scott, Friday Nightmares. Oh. They say I don't listen to their show. So although I haven't really been on the road for work because of COVID and everything like that, we're still have provisions put into place. I did have to go out one day. So I listened to a couple, I listened to the first half of the
first episode.
No. I've listened before. I'm trying to think. The one where they talked about open 24 hours. Because and then I listened to the relationship one. I think it's two separate shows. So, yes. and the cannibal one too. So I've listened to 3 now, all recently, because she was getting mad. That is a great show. And again, it goes back to what I said before, because for whatever reason, I said this before, but they still think I didn't listen. It's the way they communicate with one another. And if Heather doesn't agree with Scott, she'll call him right out on it.
Sure.
I think there was something about Scott worded something one way, and Heather's like, "Well, I don't agree with that," or the way you said it. And Scott's like, "Oh yeah, I agree with that. I was driving with my daughter to work. It was on the relationship show." And I'm like, "Ooh, Heather just got mad at Scott." And it was kind of funny because I was like interacting, and Allie was like, "Who the hell are these people?" I go, "That's Heather. That's the girl you met." She's like, "Oh, that's the girl that came to the house." I'm like, "Yeah, that's their show." Wow, so then she thought it was kind of interesting too.
A random chick that just showed up at our house.
Yeah, knocking at the. Christian,
let me in. I'm a patron. Yeah. I get full access to your house as a patron.
Full access.
How much would that be?
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't put that tier on yet. But no, great show, great conversation. I can't 100% agree with Open 24 Hours. They both hated it, or seemingly hated it. Don't get me wrong. I have issues with the story. I have issues with the story structure, but from a visual standpoint and just from a flow, quite enjoyable in that regard. But yes, there is definitely narrative problems with the movie.
Well, yes, just do yourself a favor. Do not listen to the Fresh Cuts episode on Open 24 Hours. If you think what they said on their show was bad, boy, they tore, some of the people on that show tore it apart, and I couldn't disagree more. But again, you're not going to listen to that show anyway, because it's walkthrough.
Well, that's it.
It's walkthrough in every sense of the word. I mean, I love the show. I love. I'm not talking about. Well, I'll say right now that I love all these shows that I'm talking about. Okay, but when I talk about the Fresh Cuts show, I love No More.
That's the exception.
No. I love No More Room in Hell, but Fresh Cuts, I can't do it anymore because I just don't like
Mike Merriman.
I don't like listening to the half-hour step by step. This is what happened in the film, and there's like 30 minutes of nobody but Venom talking, just telling you.
I'm too OCD for that. I gotta get to the next part.
Yeah,
but no, it has nothing to do with
Venom talking is 30 minutes too long of Venom talking.
Good guy.
30 minutes of anybody talking straight to tell a story, it's just not my cup of tea. I don't need...
Especially a cat story.
Need someone...
I was thinking the same thing, Christian, but I didn't say it.
Come on. Look at Dave
What
now.
did he say? Wait, hold on. Did I get that right?
Cat stories.
Oh. Yeah, but that's a cat story. That's something you've never heard before. A movie. If I sit here and tell you, okay, let's talk about The Shining. Okay, so now the opening scene, we see a road, a stretching road. We see a car going by, and then this happens. We see somebody walk into a hotel. He's going in for a job interview. He sits down at the interview, has a nice discussion with Mr. Ullman, I believe his name is, and they discuss what's happened in the role. And I did this for half an hour about the movie The Shining. You've already seen the movie. Even if you haven't seen the movie, you're getting the whole thing. Would you rather hear 30 minutes of that or a cat story about something you never heard of before?
I'll take the cat anus story any day over The Shining.
And I'm not knocking. Oh, stop. I'm not knocking anyone for doing it or Fresh Cuts for doing it. It's just not for me. I check out. I prefer discussions.
I do too, man. I agree.
Instead of a walkthrough. I don't need that. I don't need someone to tell me opening scene to final frame what happens in a movie and every little, especially if I've seen the movie. Then I definitely don't want. It's like somebody, reading you a book that you've already read and sitting at your bed at night. Okay, I'm going to read you Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I've already seen the movie and read the book.
Have you ever watched a movie with descriptive video? It's great. Just close your eyes and it's all joking aside, if I was blind, that's the way I would do it. But when I'm listening to a podcast, I don't need it done.
No, I do not. I want,
again, talk about individual scenes, what they might have meant to you, go that route. But I don't need a walk for walk. I wholeheartedly agree.
And
that I'd go with the cat story.
It's not a diss. Thank you. And the thing is, I have messaged Venom privately and told him I really admire.
Fuck off.
No, I really admire your recall. How you can watch a movie once and remember it. I could watch a movie 3 times, and so as a podcaster, you have a skill that I do not have, and I'm going to put you over for it. That's great. I can't do it. I mean, sometimes he sees a movie.
Put him over times. What? Your knee?
Yeah.
Bad Venom.
So. Just that type of show format just is not for me. I love the loosey-goosey discussion, having fun, and topics and everything else. I just don't want that. Loosey-goosey? Yeah.
A loosey-goosey podcast.
And again, I'm going to talk about movie misfits. That's what you have to listen to that, Christian. You definitely have to. All right.
Now that one is that Travis? No, that's the night. What's the?
It's your cigar buddy.
Oh, John Rhodes.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep. It's John Rhodes and crew. Check them out. They
Pass.
are new.
I'm joking.
But that's what I'm saying. That's a really good show. I'm telling you, just check it out.
I'm delirious with sickness. I will check it out for sure. Movie Misfits and Neek.
Yeah, Neek Life.
Neek Life.
And Beyond the Screams and everything else we've talked about.
And Nickelodeon.
Heather and Scott. Why did it slip me?
Nickelodeon.
The Friday Nightmares.
Oh, Friday Nightmares. Yeah, hello.
Nickelodeon.
And B, you're a heel too because of the damn pumpkin thing. So get used to it. All October, everyone's going to be relentless, busting your balls about these fucking. But you
I can't get enough. I can't get enough of it.
I absolutely don't, because people are missing the point I made when talking about Halloween 2018. Is that
what's the point about the pumpkins?
They threw in 10,000 pumpkins in front of a house to try to recreate an atmosphere and a setting and a feeling of 1978's Halloween, which had like maybe 1 pumpkin in it. And
they filled in spring.
And they couldn't even come close.
Yeah.
They're not doing that to overcompensate. People do
they
that.
are.
It's all over.
They're overcompensating for something. Maybe small.
I know where Braden's going with this. Like, as much as I love the fact that people are busting his balls over it, I know that's the other thing. But Braden's onto something. It just doesn't bother me. But yes, that's trick or treat is very much the same way. Every house is done up to the fucking nines. Like, but I mean, that's what you kind of want. You want that feeling. Have I mentioned Goosebumps? Goosebumps.
Giveaway.
Goosebumps 2, my son's watching right now. See? It runs in the family. He's got good taste. That one's got like some good atmosphere as well. It's again, I know why they're doing it. Brandon's right. Yeah. We
on
said
the
we were
goose?
never going to do part 2 electric anything.
Right. It's got to be
said
Goosebumps 2 on the goose.
On the goose. You got goosed.
Or Goosebumps. Goosebumps 2 on the quacks. How's that?
How about too goose, too bumpy?
Oh my God.
I don't know which one of those shows was the worst.
They were all bad, but Christian's fucking
That was
hilarious.
so bad it was good.
Yeah, Christian's hilarious. he's gonna be dead before the show ends. There's no doubt about it.
I think
Quick,
Goosebumps
get to
2
the
on the
fork.
goose was
I like Goosebumps 2 on the move.
on the
move?
goose.
On the goose. On the
On the goose. Here's what I want to know. Speaking of goose,
What's
when
good
you
for the
were
goose? Good for the gander.
indeed. Wait, what is that?
Is that Prince?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Doesn't
I
sound
thought it
like
was a
Prince.
movie
It sounds like
quote.
fucking-
No, it's
Yeah.
the beginning of like a Prince song, I think.
maybe
Little
it
Red
is.
Corvette.
Okay.
I'm looking it up now.
What was I gonna say? Damn it! I don't
Message
know
to
what
Harry
I was gonna
Manback.
say.
Write down message to Harry Manback, Brandon, before you forget.
Yeah, right there too. Fuck you. Was that a real message?
Yeah, that was. I thought maybe they recreated it, but the rumor is it's the real voice message. He left like 2 or more, and so because there's a message to Harry Manback 2 as well, but not on that album. It came out on their special one. But the first one is, "Fuck you, fucking American. Why is it that 1 in 3 Americans die out of cancer? Why is that?
Yeah.
I hope somebody in your family dies soon."
Oh no,
Fuck
it's
you.
Ready for the World. Oh Sheila.
Oh, RFTW. Oh yeah, great song. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. Oh Sheila. Yeah, great.
I always
shit.
say what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Which is a
When you
quote,
said it,
which is an old
sounded
saying and a quote from a movie. What movie though? Isn't it like sounds like it should be like a Sons of the Lambs or something like that?
It's
He sounded like Hannibal Lecter.
Silence of the Goose.
Silence of the geese.
I knew it was coming.
Like cock of the walk, the phrase that people have been uttering for fucking years, and somebody even put as a review 2 years ago on our own fucking podcast, and you guys still never heard of it? What the fuck? They call us cocks of the walk.
Even today, I've still never heard of it.
Yeah. Without listening, only on this show have I heard it.
Oh, I saw Dr. Chilton. Speaking of Silence of the Lambs, I saw him in a movie recently.
And
Oh, that's all. I hadn't seen that actor in a long time.
That's all. What movie?
It was the movie Alone.
Oh,
it's a new one.
that's a 2020, right?
That's a 2020. Yeah, highly
Jason
recommend it.
Smith.
Highly recommend it. Yeah, Jason Smith always has to be the first. I don't hear anybody talking about this movie. Like, you're not listening.
Yeah, Mr.
People are
Marco
talking
Polo.
Yeah, I discovered every fucking movie and TV show ever.
Marco Polo.
See, me and Marco Polo.
He's gonna get so mad because we didn't.
I know.
He was like last episode's like, I wonder what shit they said about me there. I don't think we said one bad word about him. We're gonna
Now
make
we
up
did.
for it now.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
The world's
I'm
just a
gonna-
flat. Sorry.
I'm going to call him Jason Smith. When I say his name on the show, I call him Jason Smith. When I just say Jason, I'm speaking of Jason Lloyd.
But,
So now everybody, now he knows because
Jason Lloyd. What?
when I-
Like 3 more
when I
months,
say
there'll be no more
I'm-
Jason Lloyd.
I'm speaking of Voorhees.
Jason Lloyd, who is what we're going to be saying in 3 months. It's half
He was-
true though. Whole
He was
feeling
in-
is going.
He was in part 8, right? Jason who?
Jason who? Yeah. Okay. I got to tell you.
We're off the
guys one
rails.
Jason takes
I gotta tell you one
Horrorphilia?
more thing before we get into the show. I thought about this yesterday because I listened back the other day, and I forgot. Remember, I told you guys a story about my father and Maestro Fresh West, right? That whole thing. And Brandon got a kick out of how many times I said the name. Okay, well, check it out.
Maestro Fresh West. I totally forgot about that.
Okay, my father to this day. This is a story that's still discussed in my family. Every so often, it comes up when we're hanging out together. Everybody else, oh yeah, you know, it's a joke. It's just because it happened. So it's such a funny story. I don't speak French, you know. So anyway, if my father tries to recall that story, he calls Maestro Fresh West a different name. He gets the name wrong, and it's something ridiculous that he calls him. And I wanted you guys to witness this because I think you'll get a laugh out of it.
Okay.
So I decided I'm gonna surprise call my father and bring up that situation and see what he says.
Right now.
Yes, a Dave Z phone call. People seem to like him. Now keep this in mind, guys. I'm not gonna tell him that we're doing a show. I'm just gonna call him, pretend I'm just shooting the shit with him, because there's no way he participate in a show of any type. So I'm gonna call him.
Of this poor quality.
And he's not gonna hear you guys, so don't worry about that.
Putana.
I'm gonna call my father and bring it up out of the blue. I'm gonna say I watched a movie last night.
I'll only come out of No More Room in Hell.
So, get ready for Mr. Z. Okay, hold on. Hopefully he answers. But you never. No matter what, it'll be funny. Even if he answers and says I'm busy, it'll be funny. Okay, hold on. Oh fuck.
Are we allowed to talk?
Yeah.
Hello.
Hey, what are you doing?
Not much. How are you?
I'm all right. You home or you out?
No, I'm out. What's going on?
Oh, you're out. Are you busy?
No, what's up?
Nothing. Well, I wanted to tell you a funny story. Something happened yesterday. I thought about you. So I don't know if you had time to... Are you at the restaurant or something?
No, go ahead. I can listen to you. Go ahead.
Okay, so listen.
This guy's a jerky boy.
I watched a...
It's Frank Rizzo.
I watched a movie last night. Okay? And it was a horror movie from like the 1990s. And in the movie, at the end credits, a rap song comes on. And I haven't heard a song from this guy in so many years. And it got me thinking about something that happened once upon a time when you actually had to call up the what do you call it? The place in Toronto for the concert tickets. You remember that?
Ticketmaster.
Right.
Now this was one of those rappers. Do you know the rappers who they're? It was Cool Mo D, right?
And creme fresh West or something.
Creme Fresh.
Yeah, Cool Mo D, Ice-T, and what's the other one?
Fresh creme West or something.
Yeah, that was him. It was
And
West.
I told the guy, I'm sorry, I don't speak French at all.
Yes.
Awesome.
I haven't thought about that rapper in so long, and it came on last night. I thought about that time you made that phone call.
Yeah.
That's great, ain't it?
Yeah, I told him, sorry, I don't speak French. He's, no, that's not French.
Oh man. Oh, that was great.
Unbelievable. What's going on? Anything?
Nothing. Just relaxing Saturday. I'm gonna watch a movie.
Why's your dad Rodney Dangerfield?
Where you
Ask
going?
him to say I had a rough day today.
I might be going to pick up a I might be going to pick up a what do you call it? A shelf for my basement to display movies on, because they're closing all those video stores.
Dr. Vim
There's not
Butts.
gonna be any more video stores at all in
How come?
in Buffalo, in New York.
Why?
Hey.
Why?
Well, they all
Why?
Is he getting? Ask him if he gets any respect.
because of COVID. And now the business was bad to begin with. People just aren't renting movies. Nowadays, a lot of people stream them. You know how they stream things on the television.
Of course, they get them for nothing. You're right.
Yeah, so it's a dying thing. So I might go get a.
Cold-D. What did he say? Cold-D. What else was it?
Iced tea.
Ice-T, Cold-D, and fresh creme West. I'm sorry, I don't speak French.
It's great, isn't it?
What's Miss Francesca doing?
Oh, she's going out today. Her and Irina are gonna go get some sushi because they're celebrating. She got 50 for 50 on her first big test at school, so she's really happy about that. But she's
good
doing,
for her.
yeah, she's doing good. Yeah, school she picked up where she left off. So far so good.
And that's fine.
Yeah,
That's fine. Good for her.
yeah. So all is well.
Can you say I get no respect just out of the blue?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I haven't thought about that in years.
Yeah, I thought about you right away when I heard that rapper, that West guy. He came on. I was like, oh, that's him. You know?
That's him.
Yeah.
Creme brulee. Creme brulee.
That game tomorrow.
Yeah. Should be a good one, huh?
Well, we'll see what develops. They got a good team, that. But you know what? They had to come from behind in one of them games.
Just like Brandon.
Well, we'll see. Buffalo beat them. Why not?
Yeah, I hopefully they will. Hopefully they'll pull it off,
Because that kid had a real good game last week.
Absolutely. Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
Do you-
Como D and French. What?
You know, I saw that guy. That guy, West, he opened up for Public Enemy. Do you remember when I was in high school, when I went out to Toronto? I took the Cadillac over the border on a school night and went I went to see Public Enemy in downtown Toronto. And I got in trouble with you guys for it because I didn't tell you because I knew you'd never let me go. And I saw that guy opened up for him. But that was that night. What, I got home at like 4 a.m?
Jesus Christ Almighty! Unbelievable.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Sorry.
Talk to Mike.
Yeah, I saw him last night. He was over. We watched some wrestling. Yep.
Who was over? Was Scott with him?
No, Scott's not feeling good. I'll tell you all about it tomorrow.
Oh yeah, you were telling me about him before last week.
Yeah. He's still not up to par.
Poor man.
Yeah. So he might come by tomorrow. I might talk him into it. We'll see.
Good. I like to see him.
I know.
Hope he does come.
Yeah. So.
All right, son.
Okay.
Pick up that pizza, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Absolutely. All right. Have a good day, Dad.
All right, son. All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye, Dad.
That was fucking epic.
That was great. I do wish he said I get no respect. First he said like Frank Rizzo and Rodney Dangerfield like mashed into one. It was awesome.
He's a character.
Oh.
He is a fucking character, man. Like that's like I feel like you set that up. Like that's not your dad. That's an actor you hired to play a character like that. He's a when he said
soundboard.
Creme Fresh West.
Creme Fresh West.
and then he changed it again. Fresh Creme West.
And then he called him French Creme West.
Yeah, fresh.
Not even West.
Yeah, he changed it like 6 times, but Creme Fresh West was my favorite. Oh, that was epic.
Oh, it was awesome. It was great. That's the show, everybody. Take care.
Honestly, we can't really add to that, so I might as well send it here.
Yeah, let's talk about what we're watching here. What we did watch. We Demons and Demons 2, and that was a double feature picked by Roberto, and The Fog by Mr. John Rhodes. So I'm really excited about this show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I guess we should you think The Fog should be the main event? We do Demons 2 to jump out?
Sure.
I am certainly fine with that. All right, let's start with Demoni, a.k.a. Demons, 1985, directed by Lamberto Bava. A group of random people are invited to a screening of a mysterious movie, only to find themselves trapped in the theater with ravenous demons.
I gotta tell you, man, I've always loved this movie. It's a personal favorite of mine. Really, it's a balls to the wall gore fest. That's it. There's not a huge story here. There's no hidden meanings. It's just fun. I will say from a narrative structure, it does get a little convoluted at the midway point, and we'll get into it a bit. But from a ride of just great gore, amazing looking monsters, and just sheer action, and plus Tony the Pimp is the most quotable. I've quoted that she's right. She took off that mask and scratched herself. Get it? Because of that scratch, she became a demon, an instrument of the evil, just like they said in the movie. You heard him, right? I love it. For the longest time, we thought he said Candy. She took off that mask and scratched herself, Candy. But then when I used to look at the credits, I'm like, there's no character named Candy. So then I had the subtitles on. I followed you guys, and I put the subtitles on to finally figure out what he says. He says, get it? I don't know how we got Candy from Get It, but as a kid, we thought it was Candy.
Wow. No shit.
I thought the stripper's name was Candy. No, I've got the DVD.
Okay, good, because the Synapse Blue, as great as it is, there's something up with the subtitles, and it's not saying what they're saying on the screen. And there's like 2 or 3 different ones you can alternate through, and it's really weird. I had issues with both of these. I had the Synapse Steelbook for part 1. And like I said, everything else is great about it, except the subtitles don't match up. It's some strange thing. I don't know why. It just happens sometimes. That's the only problem I have with part 1. Part 2, listen to this shit. I put it on upstairs. It kept saying, no disc in the player, no disc in the player. Then I put another disc in, took it out, put the Synapse disc back in, and it says, the disc is in there or something, but it says it may be scratched or fingerprints, and I'm telling you, this thing was pristine. I've only played it one time. So I bought it like 6 months ago. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I went to old trusty PS3, which plays everything, came downstairs and watched it in this very room. It played just fine. So I don't know what the deal is with Synapse Demons 2, but I don't know.
Just like the problems I had with those Scream Factory discs. Although that was figured out it was user error, but really weird. It's like I had a double click play or something like that. It was bizarre.
Whoa, not hitting twice. Whoa.
Fucking guy.
Take it easy, Creme
Believe
Fresh
him?
West.
The demon makeup in this, like these are zombies. These are fast moving zombies. Before fast moving zombies were a thing, but instead of calling them zombies, they decided, okay, we're going to call them demons. Like
you're right.
Like, I mean, that's it. Why does only one, like, really at the end of the day, why is the monster demon the one that really comes out of the girl's back, which is fantastic?
Yeah.
Why is there only one of them? Why
He's the
all
leader.
Of them? Yeah, but
He's
when
the
they all
leader.
shed their skin and eventually come out like that, you'd think.
What about part 2? How come only one comes out of that freaking
We'll
little
get
kid?
to that one. Holy shit! Yeah.
Same thing.
Well,
no explanation, but it's fun.
It's fun. The problem with me is, why do they jump to the characters in the car? The only reason for it, in my watching it so many times, is so that they have the cops come in and that back door gets opened somehow.
Hey now.
And that demon gets out. That's the only scene that, but they could have done that without involving that whole car of extra characters.
They didn't need it, because the ending, even with the one demon in part 1, Werner, the blind guy, getting out, it doesn't matter. The big twist ending of revealing that it's spread almost like zombie, like Fulci's zombie ending. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't really make much sense. Zombie makes more sense because you know they have the fat zombie at the beginning, but this one, it just is. Like,
it's filler. It's to fill out the. It's a short movie. It's 90 minutes, both of them, and they could have been 80 minutes, but they filled some things out, and you know.
I agree, though. I think they take it out. I think they take out the gang in that, and they take out the gang in part 2.
They copy it in part 2. Again, no rhyme or reason. It's the exact same complaint for part 2, and I agree. I don't think they needed it at all, and you would have had a tighter 80-minute.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm very high on this movie. And I wasn't as high on the sequel because the sequel was always available in an R-rated version that was cut to shit back in the day. And it already is a weird version, but the quality of what is available now. Oh, I also watched it. No, I'm sorry. I have the DVD of the first one, but I watched these on Shudder. They're on Canadian Shudder. I don't know if you guys have them on American Shudder.
I actually watched them
think about it.
I watched them on Shudder, even though I have both DVDs and both steelbooks.
Yeah. Well, you got the Demons 2 Steelbook.
I was too lazy to go up. I was downstairs. I'm like, I'm just going to put it on here.
Yeah, it was on Shudder. I forgot. But yeah, and so that's why the subtitles work perfectly. But the quality of these are great. And again, the first one, again, because now I feel like we're talking about both simultaneously. So I'll go right back to the first. The setting of it being primarily in that theater is what I think also makes it work. I just seem to love that, again, the contained horror, and now we're in a movie theater, which is great. And the fact that the movie that they're watching, I want to see that movie, too.
Dude, the gore in that movie is fantastic.
Yeah,
that's a slasher movie I want to see.
With the blue filters and everything else, it's just, it's really, really, there's something really evil and cool about that. I really want to see that as a standalone film.
They could have explained a little bit. There is somewhat of a story. Like, who the hell is this phantom guy with his, metal mask handing out the tickets? Like,
and how did they manage to brick in the doors? Like, I mean, I know, like, that quick. And
that's fucking supernatural. That's fine. Once demons exist in a movie, I don't care if walls can magically appear. But again, like you said, this is a showcase for special effects, for gore. It's basically one long music video. Great soundtrack, great score, just nonstop music and gore, and that's fine. And that's what
you just said. If demons show up in a movie, you don't care if walls magically disappear. Yet, when we discussed Night of the Demons last week, and I told you about my Alice in Wonderland theory and this and that, you had a problem with it.
Yeah.
How is that any different?
Juicy.
Wait, what? I don't remember this.
I think you had a problem with the doors shutting and all the supernatural stuff happening in Night of the Demons. Could be wrong, but I think that's what
did I? No way.
Unexplained things, and I went into the whole Alice in Wonderland explanation that Kevin Tunney gave, because she was dressed up as Alice, so they had certain things happen that would have floated. Actually, some did actually happen in Wonderland, and you weren't very accepting of it.
You were very accepting. He's very hurt by that.
I think he's reaching Kevin Tenney.
I think you're reaching Kevin Tenney under the table over there, tickling his balls.
I think you're tickling his balls since you're defending him 2 weeks later.
Well, I just listened to it. Remember, I told you I just listened to the show yesterday. That's why it was fresh on the brain. So as soon as you said that, I was like, wait a minute. How does he not have a problem with this? But this is okay. It's movie selection, my friend.
It is. That's how it should be.
Well, that we have to check it out. That's what people do. If they love a movie, if they're going to give a movie a 9 out of 10 or something like that, they'll excuse certain things that they won't excuse in a movie they're going to give a 6 out of 10. And I find that shitty. And we had a whole discussion on this. And I'm not singling you out, B. A lot of people do it. Maybe I even do it. I'm just saying a lot of people do it when they review movies. We had a whole discussion on it on WotC about, is that fair as us as reviewers think we say this, and this is okay in this movie because everything else about the movie is great, so I'm going to excuse that. But if they have any other beef with the movie for any other reason, they use that as an excuse to pile on to that same movie and say, oh, well, and then they did this, and that's inexcusable. Yet in this movie that you give a fucking 10 out of 10 to, you overlook it.
Hey, look, I gave Night of Demons a decent score, but that's a pretty shallow character developed film. It's really, I don't think there's as much depth.
And this
to it
is a
as
difference.
People, I think this film has better characters, even though they don't even try to develop them.
More fun, some of them, mostly Tony the Pimp. Though.
We're not.
Tony
That's
the
it.
Pimp.
Tony the Pimp.
I like
everything
George,
he says.
I like Ken. I like Cheryl. I like everyone in this.
I like all the girls. I'll tell you that. And
I like Argento's daughter, even though she's like 15, 14 in this.
Well, she looks like she's 8.
Yeah, she's like 14 in this.
It's the other one. It's his first daughter that's in this one.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought part 2's the one that has.
Part 2 has
two.
Ozzy is in part 2, but part 1, the girl with her boyfriend who's wearing the green shirt. She's the one who's crawling on the floor when the demon falls on her and starts spitting on her. Yeah, that's his daughter.
I know that was her. Oh, okay. I know what she looks. She's also in Phenomena.
Is she Anna? Anna! She got my girl. Get out of the way.
My girlfriend, Anna! Some of the dumb. I love. There's a charm to these films when they're dumb.
Don't untie it. Cut
it. In the beginning, doesn't it remind you of a typical Argento film? Like the girl sitting there even reminds me of Jessica Harper in Suspiria. She got the dark hair and the big eyes, and she's looking around. It's deaf to me that, and then her being pursued. It's like almost Giallo-like, but by that guy with the ticket.
Opera on the train.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. I like the beginning of that. I like the way they kick it off. It has all the typical Italian stuff in it. You know, people always say it's Argento's Demons, and it's not. We know he didn't direct it. Lamberto Bava did. Yeah. You know, but a lot of people credit him.
Son of Mario, which we never we think we have to bring up. Like, I mean, he passed the baton, and the son did something different, but effective, man. Like, again, it's all about the lighting here, the gore, the location, and the pace.
And did you see it, Christian? Did you spot the elf on the shelf?
I did not spot the elf on the shelf.
Nicoletta Elmi. And I hope I'm not butchering her name. Didn't she's dressed like an elf in this? I'm sorry. The redhead.
Wait, the girl with the green.
Yeah, the red.
Oh,
yeah,
so
she's
pretty.
Yeah, she's been in a million movies. She was in Deep Red. She was Who Saw Her Die. She was in Barren Blood. So she worked with Mario Bava and Lamberto Bava. But every time I see her in this movie, I'm like, why is she dressed like an elf? She's an elf in this.
I guess you're right. She's kind of elfkin magic.
But again, when that boil appears on that one, the one streetwalker,
Candy.
Neck.
Let's just call her Candy.
And it blows up.
I call her Rick James.
Oh, Rick James, that's hilarious. And it just explodes.
Call her Rick Jane.
We're in a different realm now because that boil exploding is amazing. Then they top it with the fingernails coming out. And if that doesn't get you, the teeth pushing out the other teeth and the demon teeth come out. It's just one thing after another. But that demon makeup, I don't think it gets enough credit. These are scary. They look scary. They move scary because of the rapidness. They're like these are freaky fucking demons. So this movie's fun, fast-paced, and scary. the one, like, I guess from a narrative standpoint, I said it stumbles introducing that car of characters and cutting back to them. They're not necessary at all. And there's not a lot of depth, but you don't really need it in this movie. This is just a fun, balls out horror film to watch with your friends and enjoy.
How about the girl who brings her blind father to the movies?
Is that her father?
I always thought it was her lover or her husband, and then she started cheat. Or and she just cheated with another guy in the theater.
No, I think it's her father. I think I paid attention this time, and he says something like, "My baby, my little girl is dead" or something.
Oh,
who knows? If you were watching, I don't know. I don't trust those subtitles, so who knows? But then again, you watch it on Shudder, right?
Yeah.
See how the lovers got killed? The daughter and the guy.
They're still making out as they're getting killed. It's hilarious.
Yeah. The
what a
blood's
way
like
to
spewing.
go.
Yeah.
But who takes a blind man to the movies? Like, is nobody questioning this?
Descriptive video. That was before descriptive video. She's narrating the whole thing. She's Venom in the fucking theater with the guy.
She's Venom. No
that
wonder
could be his job.
No wonder he gouged his fucking eyes out and tried to kill himself. Stop venoming me.
Poor Venom.
Oh, but man,
he should get a job doing that.
When his eyes are
blind
poked
people
out,
to the movies.
eyes get poked out. Oh, that's a cool effect. The woman who has her scalp ripped off. It gets brutal. It gets some pretty mean-spirited kills in here. The only movie I could think of, Italian-wise, that has like the meaner-spirited kills, Nightmare City.
Well,
yeah,
Nightmare City is fucking bonkers, and some of these kills in here were like, wow, this is the kind of stuff you'd see in Nightmare City.
There should be more movies like this. Everybody tries so hard to do a gore film and to build characters a certain way and to have a fucking 45-minute lead in to have kids go to someplace and then get bumped off by whatever it's going to be. There should be more movies like this, and it seems like it's easy to do. The budget would go to the makeup. You bring people in one place together, and you just have something evil show up and fucking kill them off. Why does it have to be so hard? I don't know why, but there should be more movies.
This is definitely simple and hits almost every note perfectly. The only problem is, just give a little bit more to the story behind what's going on. I don't want this movie to be any longer. But you have this guy handing out the tickets. He's clearly, there's something up with him. Not just because his face is all mangled, but he's clearly like not human or something. And then when
he's got an axe.
And then when the pimp, what's the pimp's name?
Tony.
When Tony's like, we gotta stop the movie. And they go to the projection room. They show these automatic projectors, and there was never a projectionist. So like it almost has like a Halloween 3 feel to it.
Well,
yeah, true.
Like there's
I do love the movie coming to life, like the Purple Rose of Cairo type. I love that, the movie within the movie, and that spawns evil.
Yeah, just like Woody Allen.
Exactly.
Yeah, Jeff Daniels was a fucking demon.
Woody Allen was a co-writer on this. They should have just had him in the audience. Oh no! What is a demon's end goal? Like at the end of the day, you're right. Like you said, they kind of run out. He tears that girl's scalp out, leaves her, runs, and they're like, ah! Is it just to cause havoc?
Just to kill.
Evil to run the earth.
I know this review's all over the place, but I'm surprised Dave didn't bring this up during the Night of the Demons review. There's a scene in Night of the Demons when Angela starts talking about the difference between demons and ghosts, and she says something like, "Ghosts were alive but are now dead."
Son of a bitch!
It was in your notes?
I wrote it down and forgot to bring it up.
Yeah,
you're right. Hold on, what show was that? 119.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find it and point it out to you because. Son of a bitch.
Oh, I believe you 100% because when I was thinking about it, I was like, oh shit, Dave never brought that up. I expected him to because he's like, demons were never living.
The spirits of people who've died or something. Damn it. I wrote it down and now I can't find the fuck. I had so many. Oh well, either way.
So,
sorry.
Tony the Pimp's an Italian actor because I remember there was like an interview that I watched with them on YouTube. So obviously he was dubbed. Which is,
they're all dubbed.
For once, is a great thing, in my opinion. Usually a dub movie, you're like, oh no, give me this is the one time you want the dub version. But they got the same actor that dubbed him in this to dub him in part 2. Which is fantastic.
You know who dubbed him in part 2? Dub doubles.
Yeah. What an inside joke. Yeah, again, there isn't really much you could say. A helicopter does fall from the sky, and there are motorcycles that are run rampant through the theater to kind of give it a sort of kick-ass third act. But it's fun. And
no, but it's good that like none of the characters are safe because you get a lot of okay, it's not like overly developed, but you get to know these characters in a short period of time, and you could see probably about 6 to 8 different characters making it to the end. Yet nobody's safe here. I mean, Tony gets killed. When Tony gets killed, that's sort of like Seagal getting killed at the beginning of Executive Decision. Like, what? Tony's gone?
The only
it's cool.
I think the only other Executive Decision that is funny. Woo! He's like, whoa! There he goes.
Right there he goes.
See, the one thing, and again, this is a quibble about every zombie movie, any movie like Demons, is the incubation time. Because it could change depending on what they want to present in the movie, right? It could be instantaneous or it could take an hour. And that's all. I can't just say this is a complaint for this movie. If I want to be nitpicky, the girl at the big reveal at the end is a little weird because I guess they don't really, like, everything seems hunky-dory and then suddenly, boom.
Well, look, a tiny scratch changes you, so she probably wasn't even aware that she might have gotten scratched on the leg or something. I mean, they are wrestling. The fact that George didn't change, I mean, he's got blood all over him. Like, he should have changed, but I like that Bob shoots her right in the face and just gone.
Yeah, done.
Little Bob.
Credits roll.
From House by the Cemetery.
I think it's an immune system. Yeah, it is Bob at the end. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, 100%. Man. I think it's like an immune system type thing that can be explained. Look at it this way. The three of us could be in a room and somebody could sneeze and we can catch a cold. I could catch it tomorrow. You can catch it in 2 days. You might catch it in 3. Or the three of us could eat a taco right now, same taco from the same spot. I might have to take a shit in 5 minutes. It might be an hour for you. It might be 4 hours for you.
And
everybody's
JP
body
would be fine.
reacts different.
Let's go get a taco.
JP's fine. He made it. He made it.
I always thought about that in movies. Just everybody's body just accepts things differently. You know, in this movie, it's caused by scratching, or other movies it's by biting. But I think you could pass it off as just like an individual.
And it adds to the suspense because if you start to see like the transformation like slowly on everyone, then it kind of becomes anticlimactic. I like the fact that that also you could fight it. I mean, Ken fights it. That's like a touching scene when he's asking his buddy to kill him. I like them. I like.
I do too.
Oh no, I'm not making fun of it. It's good. This I didn't really do much of a review of this, but because I just put the quote. But I reviewed this back on 2001 on IMDb, and it's still there. And I really can't say anything different when I say there. If you enjoy exploiting boils, teeth being forced out of gums by fangs, various munchings, decapitations, and the like. This movie's for you, pretty much. It sums it up.
You enjoy boils.
Did you say various munchkins?
Exploding boils. That should have been the name of our show. Exploding boils. There it is. Are you guys still there? Uh-oh.
There.
Sorry, my internet just dropped, so I've been gone for like a couple minutes there.
I know. Jay took a picture of you because you froze with a shit-eating grin on your face.
Kind of look like Borat a little bit again. Yeah.
So nice.
So
Borat 2 coming out.
Why are you so big on the screen all of a sudden? Why are you taking up like... Dave, is he taking up like your whole Skype page?
Oh.
No, nothing's changed.
I'm back!
I don't like
Well,
this.
anyway, I guess, do we have to repeat what we said?
Yeah, well, I didn't get it, so it will be on the video, but I didn't hear it.
Go ahead, B. You could talk about the...
what was it? I was talking about the iconic scene of the demons in the hallway, and they recreated it in part 2 with them in the hallway of the high rise with the lighted eyes.
Yes,
yeah, it's very very atmospheric. Talked about the soundtrack. Love the soundtrack. Claudio Simonetti does the score. Fantastic stuff. Just like a fun, like almost like a big music video horror film. And some of the effects are really cool, and some of them, I thought the helicopter could have been used better. I thought the blade was kind of just a little bit of a letdown. I get why the helicopter, had to come through so they can get the winch, so they can get to the roof and stuff, and, the showdown on the roof with the Phantom and sticking his head into the rebar, and that's awesome. And also the scene, that I don't hear a lot of people talk about enough is the scene with Hannah and Tommy in the air vents. And he's getting freaked out because he hears the demon crawling, but it's her.
Yeah.
And they keep showing her as human and then showing it as the demon. And then all of a sudden it's in front of him. And he's like, that's impossible. How is it in front of me? And then it turns out it's her who's the demon. That's a fucking great scene.
Yeah. You're right. There are great set pieces in this, and that's what makes it stand above the crowd. It's fun. I just don't like if someone's waiting for a huge, amazing story here. They may be disappointed, but it's. I don't think it sets out to be anything that it's not.
Yeah. No, there's not an amazing story here, but I do feel like I'll stick with this that there's a Halloween 3 type story here, something supernatural, alienish that somebody discovered and is testing out. It feels almost like it's like a government project here that's never really talked about, like Us, the doppelgangers.
Oh, they meant Us, the show, government project that's not talked about, like Us, exploding heads. Like,
what was the last thing you? Oh, see you there.
Yeah, see you there. See you there. You know, I needed a question mark.
Needed a question mark, a colon, a semicolon.
Something. Yes. It's a fun movie, man. See, now this to me is a fun popcorn flick. Other people talk about other ones, and they're just more goofy and schlocky. To me, this is the perfect freaking, because there's really no comedy. You sit down, you have some fun with some buddies, and freaking have some laughs. You don't have to really pay attention to every freaking frame. Honestly, my one complaint, I guess, is you guys seem to like it a lot. I think that they could have cut back a little bit on the stuff on the screen. I feel like that takes too long when they're watching the movie. I don't need to see every aspect of freaking the movie that's playing on the
You know what? I feel I would agree with you if you were talking about the sequel.
Same thing to me.
I feel in this one though, once the killing starts in that movie with the knife and he's stabbing, you get some really good gore, and he's like, it's really.
I agree.
But
I agree with that.
In the sequel, I'm like,
the lead up, I think.
I know what you're saying. But
I love it. I think it. Yeah, I've said it before. It's the switching gears to the people in the car that I think it's the major.
They didn't need it because they didn't like. None of them were a hero, and none of them even got that crazy a death. You don't even really see them get killed once they get there.
No, it's really weird. It seems like it was only to offer an exit or a reason for the exit there. It's so bizarre.
And the girl, it's I mean, the scene with the girl and the coke is funny, but the scene with the girl and it feels wrong because she looks very young to me.
You think so? I was gonna tell you she's sexy. I'm glad that's the best.
No, she is sexy. That's why it feels wrong though, because I like she has a face of like she looks like a kid. She has the face of a kid and the body of an adult.
She looks like a knockoff Linnea. It would be like, you can't get Linnea Quigley. Let's get.
That's funny because this girl did try to stick some lipstick in her nipple.
Again, though, all the women were very, very pretty. We have her. We have the lead girl that looks with the big eyes. We have the other girl that looks exotic. We have the other girl, the elf. All real pretty.
On the shelf.
Yeah, her. You're gonna kill her off?
I can't believe you guys didn't see it. I thought for sure one of you would have pointed out that she's dressed exactly like an elf.
Oh man, no.
How about the posters in the hallway?
Yeah, 4 flies. Yeah.
4 flies.
No nukes. One of them said.
Yeah, no nukes. How about the fact that like Werner's just like walking around, he almost impales himself on the sword sticking out with the demon mask. Like, Liz, you wanna help this guy out? There's a blind guy walking around with sharp objects sticking out.
Right?
She's too busy looking for her bald lover.
And he immediately touches it, and he's like, "Do not put this on. This is evil."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay. He's gonna have something to do
blind
with
people always know.
Yeah, blind people know.
They're sixth sense, right? Shouldn't even know not to go see the movie then.
What is it? Argento and blind people. He always has a blind person in his movie. Isn't that something?
Fulci with eyes.
And they always get killed like very graphically, and I think it's like maybe because it makes them more vulnerable, and then you're like, oh, they won't kill the blind person. Oh yeah, no, they do.
I'm surprised nobody complained. Oh, he hates blind people or something like that. You know what I mean? No. They say he hate women.
He was just a misogynist, yeah.
He
was a misogynist and he was a blindist.
You think he hates blind people? I didn't see that coming.
Oh.
Might of course not.
Boom.
I'm saying. Do you think?
No, it was a bad. Yeah.
Took Dave like an extra minute.
Did have a blind hero though. The guy in what do you call it? Cat o' Nine Tails. He was a hero. He lived. Didn't he?
An
live?
Alex
Well,
hero?
let's not get into that.
So I wrote again. I don't know if you guys have anything more. I just said it's not flawless, and I stand by it. But I said it definitely stands out as one of the better zombie films. So I even called it a zombie film because it's an offshoot. Really, I give it a 9 out of 10. I said I go a second rating for gore, 10 out of 10, because I think on the gore scale it's perfect. It's great.
Yeah, the fast-moving zombie/demon films are always among my favorite. It's always much more terrifying because it's brutal. It's relentless. That's not the type of world you want to live in. Walking Dead type zombies, I'll take that world any day over something like this. I'm with you. I had it rated already on Letterboxd when I added it again, and it was 4.5 out of 5, which is 9 out of 10. So same rating.
Beautiful.
How about that? Wow. Yeah. I love it the same way. It's a 9 out of 10 for me. Holy shit, she's a friend of mine. That's my favorite line of the whole movie. Bug Out City.
Awesome.
Yeah, 9 out of 10, man. It's great. Fucking lots of fun. This is a fun popcorn flick. It's got the gore. They don't need too much explanation. Just get on there, see some kick-ass gore and everything else, and enjoy the ride. And Nostradamus sounds like a rap group. That's a funny line. Holy cow!
No,
So that doesn't make the Hall of Fame, right? Sorry, Brandon, for cutting you off.
It doesn't make the Hall of Fame. But that is kind of cool. The movie within the movie talking about Nostradamus predicting things and it kind of mirroring things the way it does in part 2 and the exact scenes playing out. It's almost as if Nostradamus predicted this, which was it was kind of cool the way they worked that in.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, great stuff. Demons.
Yeah.
Well, I think that brings us right to Demons 2, which we've already pretty much
does.
started talking about.
Yeah, same director. A group of tenants and visitors are trapped in a 10-story high-rise apartment building infested with demons who proceed to hunt the dwindling humans down. Basically, if you like part 1, there's really no reason why you shouldn't like part 2. I do feel like some of the special effects don't look as good as they do in part 1. For the most part, it looks great, but I think some of it looks a little wonky.
Quick or cheap.
A little quick. Yeah, like a little cheap.
Like that fucking baby demon. We'll get to it.
Yeah, the
crazy.
Ghoulie Muppet demon.
Oh, the Ghoulie Muppet. I want to fucking punt that thing through the roof.
I want a whole movie of them. That's what I want.
Son of a
He's
bitch.
kind of cute. He's kind of cute. But my favorite
most
demon
annoying.
in this movie
want a spin-off.
that only gets one kill in it and then you never see him again, Davy. Motherfucking Davy.
Davy.
Dog at the
Davy's
keyhole.
yeah. When I saw that, I lost my mind and I texted you guys. I'm like, that fucking dog. There's a scare in the movie. So opening thoughts of this one is, Brandon, you kind of summed it up perfectly. I mean, it's pretty much a carbon copy. It's Evil Dead 2. It's I actually said it's Return to the Living Dead 2. Now, I know, Dave, you won't like that because Return to the Living Dead 2 you hate.
2.
But I'm talking about Return to the Living Dead 2. They bring back the characters. I know. I see the damn dog, Davey.
You have to acknowledge Davy.
I do. I did acknowledge it. But they bring back characters who play different roles in this movie. There's multiple people, just like Return to the Living Dead 2. They tore a page right out of it. This one's better. But, I mean, I'm just saying, I'm a fan of Return to the Living Dead 2. I know you guys are not as much. But this one, like, you got Tony the Pimp now playing like a personal trainer.
Guru. Jack LaLanne.
There's more people working out in this building than any other building on the fucking planet.
I love the setting in this one. I think the setting in this one I might enjoy more than the movie theater.
The apartment building's great. The way they light the apartment or certain apartments is great. There's a lot of atmosphere, and the fact that it goes into the TV studio at the end is a great way to end it, to take it away and kind of separate it.
Yes.
The logic here is ridiculous, but again, similar to the first one, you're just along for the ride. And they make the same flaw of cutting to a car of people that there's no reason for.
Yeah, that poor schlub had to wait outside for Jacob to show up because he's not invited to Sally's party. Sally's a fucking brat, by the way.
Yeah.
But I got a question for you guys. This
Yeah.
voiceover at the beginning, this sort of monologue, talking about it's almost like talking about part one as if part one happened for
Right.
real in the world of part two. Do you think it did? And it was
That's
like a
what I
short-lived
thought.
thing? I think so too.
Initially, that's what I
Initially.
thought. Yes, but as it played on and we saw more about it, then it just became it was like a sequel to a movie.
Yeah,
That's the way-
because they never
the guy
bring it up. Because they never bring it up. Nobody ever says, "Oh my God, it's happening again."
right.
But the
And
way
it-
they started out is almost as if we're about to see a story set in a world where the stuff in Demons 1 happened.
That's what I thought. But then as it goes on, you see more people watching it and the way they're reacting. And when the guy was like busting his daughter's balls, oh, you're gonna watch this trash or something like that. That to me made it seem like, okay, this is just a movie. You know what I mean? Or maybe they tried to perpetrate it. It's a hoax. Maybe they're trying almost like found footage. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Before its time, like, oh, you're trying to make it look like this is something that really happened. Clearly, this never happened. You know what I mean? I don't know, but I sure where you're coming from because I always think that when I first started to watch this movie, that's what I think. I'm like, that's a cool way to go from 1 to 2 because they show the end scene in a manner of speaking from the end. You know, when they're in the Jeep. I'm like, okay, so they're showing what happened with even different people, but I mean, they're showing what's going on here.
And even the movie within the movie, they're trying to find this sealed off area. It's like walled off Astoria. It's walled off and
Walled off. You know?
and you know, you almost think like they're gonna go behind the wall in the movie, and it's gonna be like the movie theater there.
I thought they were gonna when they got to that one point.
That would have been cool.
Theater. It was gonna be a tie-in. It would have been cool.
Yeah.
Somehow, simultaneously broadcasting and coming on film too. It was like, again, like I said, logic. It's not that strong suit, but it seems to work within. They make it work. They don't question it. So you're just along with the ride. So you just have to absorb what they're trying to sell you, which is that this demon movie, the one demon sort of notices the viewer and then beelines it for the TV and then comes out of the TV. And it's
Jaws 3, baby.
It's
Jaws
cool,
3
though.
It's awesome. I love
Those
it.
are good effects.
I love that effect.
And the demon effects are great. I still think the demons look really scary. And again, with the glowing eyes and everything like that, amazing. Again, they get some great atmosphere and great effects. It's amazing in that regard. But that little dumb little Muppet ghoulie demon. I'll say this: the pregnant woman is absolutely super hot. Like she's probably the hottest pregnant woman on screen.
Thank you for taking the words right out of my mouth.
I went and I had to like download some like prego porn after just because.
Amputee prego porn.
Yeah.
Oh.
Demon.
He watched the end of Bone Tomahawk and masturbated.
You know, I can't get hard unless I'm watching an ISIS beheading video, actually. So it's gone. I'm going down a whole rabbit hole now.
And instead of exploding boils, you get the vein pumping a lot in this.
Yeah.
The vein, which is cool.
I love that. That's the stuff they don't have much anymore. I find it's like the bladder effects, like the Toxic Avenger, where the arm bubbles up and like the vein. Oh, I love that stuff.
Practical. Yeah. It's a freaking. That's what it is. Part 1 and part 2. You know, if you want to have a discussion with somebody about CG versus practical, say, here, just watch this. Like I'm so glad that my daughter sees things in passing and she's into them. She's into animatronics and she's into practical, and she finally understands what I was trying to convey to her years ago about how a lot of CGI is shit, and this is what it's all about. Now, if she sees something on the screen, she's kind of like into it. She's like, oh yeah, she appreciates the artistry of it. And I'm like, I love seeing that. I wish more people would. But I mean, that whole scene is awesome. When you see the veins, the birthday scene, when she comes out, that everything about that scene, the way she comes out, the way it's shot, and when they're singing and what's going on, that whole 5 minutes is so great, man.
I wish they had shown more of the carnage. It's sort of more implied. You see a little bit, like when she grabs the guy's arm, but I wish there had been more of like a visual on all the slaughter that took place in there.
Well, just be happy you've got the uncut version now, because again, growing up, there was only the R-rated, and I remember it not holding a candle to it because it cut out all the good stuff. So
yeah, you had to hold a candle to it because it was so dark you couldn't see it.
yeah, that too. To be honest, the quality wasn't all that great either. But I always enjoyed it, but I always had it at a lower rating. It's definitely come up for me. I don't have it on par with the original, but it's definitely come up with me, up on me, with me. But that scare where that woman goes and hears a scratching, and then goes to the door and looks at the eye hole, and that dog pops up. The picture that you showed earlier, Davy, pops up. I laugh my head off because she opens the door, and this thing is like 12, 14 inches off the ground, just sitting there looking up at her. I'm like, are you kidding me? That thing jumped up to the eye hole.
Fucking Davy, man. I love this.
It's ridiculous.
Dog. And he gets
that should be your profile picture. That dog in the circle.
And he gets the transformation that Rosemary, the one of the prostitutes, gets in part 1. He gets the teeth coming through.
Oh.
And he gets an awesome like an American Werewolf in London type transformation.
Between that and the Thing mashed together, almost
then they only use him to kill his owner, and then you never see him again. What a waste!
That's where the big demon should have come out of Davy.
Yeah, that
Great.
really would have been cool.
Well, this has kid demons in it. Like the kid demon was a waste too. They should have used him a bit more, but then they had that stupid fucking Muppet come out of him. The thing looks like a burnt Cabbage Patch Kid or something like that.
I'm mixed on the Muppet. I'm mixed on it. I kind of wish it was more scary like the demon in part 1, but again, like Dave, I kind of like he's cute and I enjoy him.
You like the Muppet from this, but you hate the baby from Dead Alive. I don't understand it.
Well, I'll tell you why. This is kind of, for me, the baby from Dead Alive is completely ridiculous. Everything about it. Why would that happen?
Yeah.
That's just,
This is your
dumb.
Night of the Demons moment, Dave.
Well, hold on. No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Now, let me break it down. The baby from Dead Alive, how does that happen? Can you recall it? Tell me what led to it.
It is stupid. It's stupid. I admit it. Okay. It's a pregnant zombie giving birth within like hours of being impregnated.
Yeah, and it's full grown.
Days.
It's like a fucking 5-year-old running around, correct?
Well, no, that's just the way that they filmed it. But yes, it is.
I understand. Okay, but this movie here, what they do here, does it make a whole lot of sense? No, but when it comes out, the way it looks, to me, it's like watching the Zuni fetish doll thing. I like how it's a one-on-one thing. It's like the trilogy of terror. You have one girl being tormented by this freaking thing that's chasing her around the room. I like it. I wouldn't mind a movie, a spin-off of those things.
That's great. It's the way it looks and the sounds it makes.
It's not scary enough to be like on the Zuni fetish doll level.
It's ridiculous.
Come on, the Zuni fetish doll looks weird and makes those ridiculous noises.
That thing was terrifying.
That's hilarious. You're talking about Trilogy of Terror?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is on, I think it's on Prime. I just saw a spoof of this with Donald Trump. Did you see that? It's 4 minutes long. You gotta watch. It's ridiculous, but you gotta watch it.
Is this where he's chasing Hillary Clinton around?
No, he's chasing Karen Black. All they do is they replace the doll, and they overdub Karen Black, and they have to. Yeah,
I think I've seen this.
4 minutes long. It's on Prime. But anyway, it's just funny that you bring that up because that doll though is scarier. Yeah, it's on Prime. That doll is scarier, but this doll is just goofy looking, and the sounds it makes, and it looks like they're taking a fishing wire and just having them go. Meh, meh, meh. There's like no movement. There's no animatronics to the thing. It just.
I love when he comes flying out of the Murphy bed. I think it's hilarious.
It's just like this. It's just like. Meh, meh.
Is that a Ken doll?
Oh, it's a Jason Goes to Hell doll.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't say anything anymore. It's out of juice.
How crusty is his back end? Let me see.
Wait, that's from Jason Goes to Hell, isn't it? With his brain exposed and shit.
Yes, I just said it was Jason Goes to Hell.
He literally just said it's Jason Goes to Hell.
I couldn't hear because they get cut off sometimes when two guys are both talking at once. Okay. Oh boy. Oh yeah, but for some reason, I don't like goofy shit. The way I saw it and the way it's portrayed just didn't seem goofy to me. I mean, the noise is a little obnoxious, but what do you expect out of a baby demon? I just thought it was just some baby flipping the fuck out, and I liked it. Did you guys ever see that movie Apartment?
Hold on, just bench it for once. We got to do a poll. I just need a poll on the page. Then, guys, everybody check out Demons 1 and 2 on Shudder, and then we have to have a poll. Is a baby demon super cool or super goofy, or both? I guess you can think it's. I mean, I like the idea of it. I like the threat. I just think it's so bad compared to the rest of the effects and everything. But anyway, you apartment what? Sorry, I cut you off, Dave. So I apologize.
It's okay. Apartment 212, I think it was called. It was from last year or the year before.
I never saw that, but I remember what you're talking about.
Okay.
Oh wait, maybe I did see that. Is that the one with the little creature that's tormenting in the house? In the apartment?
In the apartment, but we don't get that reveal until the fucking third act.
Oh, did I spoil something?
Yeah. So I was gonna say, just go watch that movie.
I've seen this.
Something cool in that reminds me of this. I was gonna say, and I like when they did something like that in that movie. That's all I was gonna say. But see, it's a cool reveal because the whole movie you're seeing something else going on, and she's falling apart. I'm telling you, it's a good movie. Apartment 212. Check it out. It's worth a watch.
I vaguely remember it. I'm mixed on it. I like the Muppet simply for its comedic effect now, but I do agree with Dave that it does have that trilogy of terror feel to it, and it would have that trilogy of terror feel to it had the Muppet been much more terrifying. The kid was scarier than the
That's
Muppet.
what I said. I agree. I love the idea of her being tormented, and it's another thing she's got to deal with. And she puts it in with not a trundle bed. What is that? The
Murphy bed.
Murphy beds where they go up, and all of that stuff is great. It's just the doll is just. It's more like when he comes back again, you're like, "Fuck! I just killed this motherfucker."
Oh, it's so sad when she's pouring the acid on him, and he's just like,
perfect. Well, speaking of that, this is what I love about these movies too. Dubbed again.
Yeah.
The guy's like, "There's blood dripping from the ceiling. I touched it. It burns." And he's showing his corrosive fingers, but he's saying it so matter of factly.
It burns. Your fingers are like the bone is
I know.
showing.
He's like, but he's like so like matter of fact. It's like, "There's blood dripping from the ceiling. I touched it. It burns."
Yeah, fingers look like freaking burnt hot dog. It didn't just burn; it scorches and freaking devours your skin.
Or when he goes, exclaims, "That's a demon." How the hell does he know what a demon is?
Right, I wrote that too. Exactly, that's a demon, and they were calling him that. Yeah, what the hell? I mean, the guy said it. Tony the Pimp said it in the first movie. A demon, an instrument of evil.
But he refers to the movie because just like they said in the movie, and because I always thought an instrument of evil was a great line, but they actually call it an instrument of evil in the movie, which is he's just quoted in the movie. But the other thing that gave me unintentional comedy, beautiful scene, is in the attempt to escape. All the gym patrons start bashing. So they start bashing a metal bar against glass. Or plexiglass or whatever. That doesn't seem to work. So then they decide to throw a fern at it.
Right.
And then when that doesn't work, they start banging their hands on it. I'm like, the metal bar was probably your best option. And when that didn't work, a fern wasn't going to do the trick.
But Tony was once again
ridiculous,
cool, collected, and in charge here, yelling at them not to panic. The one guy he gets the fire extinguisher to use. The dubbing on that guy was awful. He's like, "Oh, how do you use this? Remove the pin."
Yeah.
Remove the pin.
I think that was done on purpose. Like, you're supposed to be a dope, but it's hilarious.
Right.
I thought the funny scene was when they're in the garage and they have the fire set. He sets the fire. He's like, "Keep that fire going." And then 2 seconds later, he's like, "Put that fire out. We're gonna suffocate."
Yes,
like 2 seconds later. But during the fire, when the demons come in, do you notice they come in like tumbling acrobats? They're doing these aerial somersaults.
It's batshit crazy, but that elevates it. It's fun. Another perfect example of a popcorn movie. You just sit back, you watch it, and you have a blast with it. I mean, that's what this one's all about as well. It's just silly than the first.
Subtitles being messed up. I had the subtitles on Shudder watching this, and when George comes back to the apartment to help Hannah, right when he's about to kill the Muppet, the ghoulie, when he comes into the apartment, you know what the subtitle said? It says that she screams David. And David is the name of the actor who played George. But I went back and listened to it, and I don't think she's saying David. I don't know what she's saying, but she's not saying David. But the subtitles say, "David, help me," or something like that.
And she's actually saying COVID.
COVID.
Beware of COVID. This is very the demon scaling the in the elevator, the chasing him up, terrifying. Terrifying.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. I think at the end of the movie coming down the building.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious because it's like, hey baby, I'm gonna harness myself in. You just hang your pregnant ass off me. Capiche? Like he's all harnessed in. She's the one holding on. It's the
right,
best.
but remember when Asia's chasing her on the coming down, scaling the building on the outside. It's awesome, man.
Yeah. And look, very, very Evil Dead inspired with our lead male characters here.
Oh, both of them.
Both of them are Ash.
He looks like Ash. Demons. In this one, he looks like Ash with the torn off shirt. I think it's blue. I mean, it looks like Ash.
Yeah, but even was it George also? It was also a George in part 1 who was the last guy. He, his shirt's all torn up by the end when he's riding the motorcycle with the sword.
I was talking about the sounds more than anything in part 1 when they were turning and everything else. It sounded like the stuff in
However,
one.
This was before iconic Ash. They had Ash in Evil Dead, but not iconic Ash, because Evil Dead 2 came out a year after this.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I didn't even think
of that.
Funny
enough.
No, there's some interesting stuff that reminds me of other movies. Even Sally as a demon in this one, when she starts moaning, the moaning sound effects reminded me very much of like Fright Night.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
She sounded almost like Evil Ed when he's like turning back into a human after he's been impaled.
I'll know soon. Remember, I've only seen it one time, but I think we have to watch it for the show.
Yeah, it was a 2020 for you.
No. Do we have to watch it for the show?
Yeah,
we
do.
Yeah.
Good. That's to see it again.
That's going to be a great show. Fright Night, Dead Zone, and something else.
Is that next show?
Nice.
No, I don't think it's next show.
I'll do the rundown again at the end of the show.
Next show it follows.
Oh, cool. But we forgot to mention both movies. In the first one, the amazing metal type soundtrack and what they do with that. A lot of great songs that fit.
Brayden brought it up like 3 times.
I tried to get you guys to buy it because you guys are the music guys. I kept saying it had an awesome soundtrack. I did like the songs in it, even though I didn't know some of them.
Save My Soul from Motley Crue.
Yeah,
I thought they came in after. I thought, and I could be wrong, in the original version, I thought they came out when they were kicking ass at the end when they're driving the motorcycles. But it's like playing when I think they're watching the movie and the soundtrack of the movie.
Motley Crue is very early on in the movie. At the end, it's a different band. But they had Billy Idol. This one had the Smiths, and I don't even know all the bands. It's different, but still solid.
Yeah, but different type of music. It's like okay, we still want to do this era and what's going on, but we're gonna have a different type of music that was happening at the time, and it was cool. It was an interesting choice. It kind of fits. Like the first one, I don't know, for whatever reason, they seem to fit. Again, I'll say it again. It's more of the same, but that's what a good sequel does. Some people complain, oh, they made the same movie over and over again. Well, you know what? If the first movie's successful and you could go in on the second one, have a lot of fun with it, and change a couple little things. Yeah, and that's what I like about this movie. It's more of the same, but what they do is, I like the fact that they separate, that they have this group over here. You have the girl being chased by the freaking thing that he hates, the Glee Muppet. You have these ones over here that are dealing with this one. You have these people, they're being scaled in the elevator, and you have these people over here. You have different situations.
You got the kid in the vent. You got the kid hiding in the vent. It's like it's really cool. There's a lot of cool set pieces.
They step it up. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like let's face it. That's why some people love Friday the 13th and why others don't. I mean, it really is like the same, like more of the same, and you're along with the right or not. And this one is a perfect example from a different subgenre of horror. And you're right. The different set pieces are amping it up with the scaling up the elevator shaft or down the building or whatever does it. It's great. And the freaky part of when she's running, when they get to the TV station and she sees the demon again running towards the TV and he just sort of smashes all the TVs.
Yeah, she's mirroring what started in the first place. The demon from the movie running at her, which was cool.
It was cool. Isn't it weird that they show it when she's on top of the building too? It's like yeah, it's weird the first time.
Again, you see this television studio and you're like, what's going on? Some sort of like alien government project, supernatural, but no explanation, but who gives a shit? Still
just like the Curse Theater.
Exactly. Just another showcase of great effects and fun characters and good music.
Yep.
I just wish maybe they'd had Davey around a little longer. I would have liked to seen him show up and have another kill. And Ozia survived. Ozia was alive still.
Kind of?
She was in the car and the demons ran away. So she should have showed back up at some point.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you're right. I never thought about that.
And
Shit.
the pimp
And they do
gets
the
his
shot.
balls ripped off.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that sucks. Oh, jeez.
Pinball.
But you know what I like? The hallway shot, like this thing in the first one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Glowing eyes in the hallway.
Yeah, and then what I call the wreck shot, because wreck took it from them, but still they did it a couple times. Them looking down, they're seeing them all running up the freaking stairwell.
You know what I call that?
Yo.
I call that the Willy Wonka Oompa Loompa shot. I feel that's right before they're about to sing. They look over.
Oh, when they do, in that one scene. It stops you from smoking and brightens your smile. Yeah, right. Amazing. Shit, they do that. You're right. There was this one thing I got confused about just for a second. It was, first of all, terrible parents. Who lets that kid freaking stay home alone at night like that? You know, what the hell's going on here? They let the kid stay home. Then they get out of the movie. Whatever the fuck it is.
No, he's by himself. He's locked in an apartment. What's going to happen?
No, yeah. That's you and I would do it, I'm sure. You know. Then all of a sudden they're out of the movie and they're walking and it's daylight. Just for one scene, it's like a 10-second walk. They go, "Oh, we should do something." Did you notice that? I figured Christian would notice that.
I think I know exactly what you're saying. It was almost like they didn't have an option, so they just did some really bad day for night and just said we're going to try to do it. But it is weird. It makes it look like it's a totally different time frame. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I was like, what the hell? But I mean, that's, a minuscule complaint. I just saw. Oh, the fact that she has acid in her freaking kitchen is weird. Who the hell has acid in their house that they can dump on somebody and kill? What is he, a scientist? Are they scientists?
They are scientists. Yeah. He's studying a physics book, and
they're students.
Yeah,
they're
no,
not,
but
scientists.
she's also, yeah, no, they are. I had no problem with that because she was talking about it too, at one point.
Really?
Isn't it funny? You just assume that when the baby gets delivered, it's going to be a demon baby.
Right.
You sounded so Canadian there when you said "baby."
Baby. Why is that Canadian?
I've been talking to Heather too much.
Baby.
Baby. And now you just said "baby." I was like, that's so Canadian.
I think I said baby.
You said "baby."
Anyway. What should call you, Brandon baby?
Brandon baby.
Brandon
hey,
baby. Talk to
hey, baby.
Did she say battery by chance?
Battery?
I ran out of batteries for my vibrator. Yeah.
Oh, batteries.
Sorry,
that was actually the exact sentence.
No, anyone who knows Heather knows she would never run out of batteries for her vibrator.
You better have recharges in that bitch. You better have them all over the place, Shit. Rechargeables, ready to go. Man, I know I would if I was a female.
Again, I don't want to speed this up, but I rated this when we did the 86 show for 22 shots. I had this in my top 10, and I had an 8 out of 10, and I stick with that rating. I think it's a great follow-up. I don't think it's as good as the first, but it's definitely come up over the years. I think seeing it uncut definitely adds to it. It's goofy fun.
Yeah, it's definitely a notch below the original. I do think it needed a little bit more gore. It didn't have the blood and the nastiness of part one, and especially in the later parts of the film. And it had an opportunity, particularly, towards the end when he's, having the showdown with Sally, when he's having the I mean, I do like when he throws Ula right off the roof. That's hilarious. just chucks her right off. But it needed I don't know.
Manicarino.
A little bit more gore in the end. And I also gave it an 8 out of 10.
All right. Like I keep saying, more of the same. It's a lot of fun. There's a couple things I wanted to point out that I thought was fun. Do you think that girl that was she was a hooker, she was assuming that the other guy was a gigolo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you? Yeah, isn't that weird that they had that whole situation going on? And then how about when the Hannah girl says to what's his name? George? Is that his name? Whatever the hell his name is. She's like, "Oh, you don't want your baby to be born with a birthmark, do you?" Why would it be born with a birthmark? Because she didn't need food. Did you notice she said that? That was a reason for wanting.
Yeah, no, that was a weird line, and it was also weird that she's like going to like knock on the party, and she's like banging as loud as she can. She can't get anyone to answer, so she sends George out. Like him knocking someone's gonna answer.
She just wants cake too. She just wants cake.
Those desserts look good though.
Oh boy, did they! I was dying watching.
God, I wanted to go in there and just have all those desserts.
Oh man, yeah, for sure. And then somebody has a line. They say, "I want to go home. I don't want the demons to get me." They say,
Who says that?
somebody. I wrote it down.
It's got to be somebody at the party.
I don't know, but they say it. I think it might have been somebody in the thing towards the end, whatever the hell, the parking garage, whatever the hell it is.
Oh yes, I think it's one of the girls in the car.
Yeah.
The 3 girls who are crouched down in the car, yet they leave the sunroof wide open, and the demons
Yeah.
come in, just grabs her by the hair and pulls her out. It's like, you fucking idiot! Shut the fucking sunroof. See, that's where I wanted the more gore too. When I talk about that,
Yeah,
in
It
the
should have
end.
been there. Yeah.
They got too bombastic with too many freaking things flying around, and they were showing
Yeah.
car crashes and stunt men fucking
Kung
demons.
fu.
Exactly.
Kung
And there's so
fu
many
demons.
instances where you see the demons grabbing people and pulling them through the front of the windshields and
Yes.
through the sunroofs, and it's like this could make
Where-
for follow it up with the kill. Let me
Where's
see
the scalping?
rip someone's scalp up, rip someone's throat out. Let's see more
Yep.
blood.
Like the first one. That's what they would have
Exactly.
done. The
Exactly.
effects in this movie went to like transformations and things like that, which was fine. They look good. They look good. And they did that in the first movie, but in the first movie, they had more Kilgore. They had more.
For sure.
Ed Kilgore. Anybody? He was the guy that freaking used to do the news. in
That's
Buffalo.
Igor's brother, Kilgore,
Ed Kilgore.
and Al Gore. Kilgore for vice president.
And I felt bad for that girl, too, because her mother turned and she was asking for her father and she was hiding
Yeah.
in the car. That poor girl.
Yeah, but he
And,
went out like a fucking pimp. Well,
Yeah.
Tony went out like a pimp, but he also went out like a pimp.
And one more funny observation: some of the freaking ADR animal noises for the dog when they made him sound like he was a werewolf.
Oh.
Like it was
Oh,
great.
I swear they put. Like, I think I wrote something down that made it sound like they used a totally different animal, like a gorilla or something at one point, or it sounded like a dinosaur. It was ridiculous.
Dinosaur. A dino dog.
Yeah.
Ah, it
Dino.
was the same noise they made when what's his name? When Dan Aykroyd turns in Twilight Zone the movie. When he sees something real scary, he turns around. I always thought that was funny because he chokes the guy and he makes these noises. It sounds like a cougar or a freaking, I don't know, some type of
A
I always
liger.
thought-
A liger.
yeah, Jushin Thunder Liger. Yeah, some freaking weird thing. But anyway, I won't go on and on. I'm sorry.
The
There was
funny
like a-
thing about that also is after that transformation, when he kills the owner, like you could clearly see, like she's like hiding behind the curtain. He jumps out. You could clearly see it's just a regular dog. His like tails wagging, just basically wants
Yes.
kisses.
Yeah, I noticed that too this time. Yeah.
Fucking Davy, man. I love Davy.
Yeah.
I'm doing the rest of the show as Davy.
Davy. Think about it, dude.
Did you rate it?
No. But I'm
Sorry.
agreeing with you. I just wanted. No, I was just getting in some stuff I thought was funny. um, again, I'm agreeing with you guys. I'm gonna say again, the horror is horrific, like it should be. That's what separates this movie from other ones, and it's fun without being silly or stupid. That's
This
what I
guy.
like about it. That's what it is about these demons movies. It's fun without being silly, and the horror, when it's there, is horrific. That's how you do it. Again, I'm 100% in agreement with these guys. It's an 8 out of 10 for me as well.
Ooh, I aligned both movies. That's fantastic.
Yep.
I wish they continued this because I know that Demons 3 is the Ogre, or the Ogre is Demons 3, and then there's
I
a
never
fourth
watched
and a fifth one.
Well, the
but
church was also considered Demons 3, right?
no, I think that was another one. I think that might be 4, and then there's a
okay.
fifth one too, or something. I don't know, but they none of them like follow this structure.
Yeah, they should have just picked another location and done this film again because it's just
Prime for
it's a
remake.
formula that should be followed.
I don't think I could be wrong, but I want to say Argento was not involved with those other ones either. I could be wrong.
Lamberto Bava though directed the Ogre, I believe.
He did he? Okay.
And Suavi did the church.
Yeah.
I know. That's true, and I hear you. I just, yeah, I don't know. You know, the church was also I think the story was from Dario, to be honest with you. So, again, I haven't seen the church in years. I don't think there's a good copy of it, is there? Or am I way off on this?
I think like Ronin or something recently put out a Blu-ray, like within the last year or so.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I got to look into that because for some reason I thought
I
thought
think
it
it's a
wasn't on-
fairly cheap copy too. I don't know what the quality's like, but I think it's like a $15 Blu-ray. Like you're not going to spend an insane amount.
Okay, well, I'm going to look that up. Okay, the
Yeah.
church. Let's see. Yeah, you're right. There was a Ronin. There's a Scorpion releasing. for $18. See, okay, sorry, I don't mean to. But
Yeah,
there
Scorpion.
Are some
That's it. Scorpion. Ronin's the company that sells them.
There are some people that listen though, and then they have this in 2-disc set. Yeah. Either way,
I
guess
have the DVD of the church. I think in
Do you?
Bay.
Yeah, it's like $18. So as usual, I'm waiting for it to for it to drop in price a little more. $10, it'd be all mine. Certain movies I wait for that $10, to strike. But
look, I think C's getting better. He's less sweaty now.
He looks good. He looks like he's having a good time. But let's keep it going while we can.
I'm getting tired. Demons 3, you might have been right. The Japanese version of The Church was Demons 3, but I know that The Ogre is Demons 3 as well. But you know how these titles get, right?
The Ogre. Yeah. That what a turnoff that is to me. You got Demons 2, and then you think about an Ogre in part 3. I'm like, what is that?
I think it's a guy from I think it's a guy from Revenge of the Nerds.
I'm thinking of Shrek every time Christian says the Ogre.
I'm not an ogre.
Right? Ogres have layers. Yeah, I'd watch that. Or I'd watch Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds. Either one, yeah. I would watch.
Demons.
Oh.
Imagine that. They just... It takes place. The next one takes Demons 3. The Ogre takes place at that university, and
Adams College. Yeah,
Adams College. We should make our own version of that. Demons 3 Ogre.
Our movie's gonna end up being like UHF. That freaking thing. It's just gonna be little bits from all these things that are horror related that we're gonna throw in. Because every time we do a show, there's a new. We just had one earlier. I forgot what it was, but something popped in my head. I go, we should just do that in the movie. And I'm telling you, that's what it's gonna be. It's gonna be the horror version of UHF. I think people would like that.
I love UHF, so I would love to see it.
I love UHF. I showed my son that. I have the DVD of it, man. It's awesome. I showed my son that for the first time during COVID, and he fucking thought it was hilarious too. He didn't want to see it. It's so good, and he got the references too. The sect is Demons 4, the Devil's Daughter, supposedly. That's also known as. So that's the other Suave movie or whatever. Michael.
How are those demons though? This is what I'm trying to say.
They're.
When movies do that.
It's a marketing
Yeah.
It's a marketing scam. Just get people, Demons 3. I love Demons 1 and 2. Wait, there's no demons in this movie.
That's what I'm saying. I can't stand when people do that. Or when people consider that to be like an official part of the franchise.
The horror story, House 3?
Well, yeah, you know how I feel about
horror
it.
Show.
Stupid.
Horror show,
like,
yeah.
Having evil, that'd be like if Friday the 13th, after the final chapter, if part 5 was something about,
an imposter
Satan.
Jason?
Let's just call it Friday
Part
the
5
13th
was like about kids in a halfway house, and the Jason wasn't even in it. Like, sorry.
But it's a slasher.
I love part 5. I love part 5. You know I do.
What if Friday
13th, part 5, The Ogre.
Yeah, the Ogre. And the next one could be like a knockoff for The Omen or something. Let's just call anything Friday the 13th and slap a label on it so these freaking marks will buy these movies. See, that's where I get insulted as a horror fan, or as a fan, just a consumer of anything, where other people, they eat it up. Oh, you got to see this as part of the franchise. It's official. And I look at it, I'm like, you know what? To me, you're just being a mark. You're just saying, okay, let's just put a title on it, and they're going to eat it up because they have
I just want to be a Christian.
Sorry. Yeah, be a Christian. All right.
Let's do it. The main event.
The main event.
I have a lot to say here. I'll try not to talk too much, but man.
All right, The
A
Fog.
long way.
John Carpenter's The Fog. From 1980, an unearthly fog rolls into a small coastal town exactly 100 years after a ship mysteriously sank in its waters. And written by John Carpenter and Deborah Hill.
All the crew is there.
Yeah.
All the crew is there.
Tommy
And let
Lee
me say,
Wallace.
Everybody.
Dean Cundey.
Yes.
Hey. You know what? I didn't give this like a fair chance when I was younger. I think although I loved Halloween and I loved a lot of John Carpenter's other films, almost all of them, this movie, I just felt like I just never connected with it when I was younger, when I was a teen.
Yeah.
Something happened, and then in my 20s, I revisited it, and I'm like, wow, I really dig this. And over the course of the last 5 to 10 years, it's become one of my favorites of his.
I think this is a film and a story that's geared more towards the adult horror fan.
Well,
I could see kids being bored with this. It's the epitome of slow burn, atmospheric, but it's got terrific characters. Sorry, I know we always talk about character development and stuff like that, but it does have good characters, but it also has really good story to it. Really good background, really good,
the
building
last
up.
20 plus minutes is great. Like, I mean,
yeah, no, but they really set up the story well, talking about it, the journal and everything, and really understanding everything. I would have liked, if I have one quibble with it, maybe the six, maybe because it's a small town like this, maybe have more descendants of the six rather than just Father Malone.
Or more just town folk, more of the town, because the town's super cool. The locations they picked here are great. I feel like it just jumps to the following the characters, which is fine. It works. Like I said, I've come way up on this movie, like way up. I love that feeling. It's just the same feeling I get with Crystal Lake or whatever. So not to keep bringing it back to Friday the 13th, but the feeling of the town there and the location they picked for the lighthouse and everything they've done, they've created a really good feeling. And it wasn't well received back in the day either. It's something that developed a cult following as it went on, as the years went by. And I don't know if you guys watched the special features. I had no clue that I didn't realize that this was. Oh, get this out of here with Davey. I didn't realize that this, like, they edited the movie. John Carpenter went on vacation, came back, and Tommy Lee Wallace said it was not working. And they watched the movie, and John Carpenter, quote, like I'm quoting him, says it sucked. It wasn't scary. It wasn't good. They needed more. So he just said all the stuff that they added that was like any close-ups of pretty much those monsters or any stabbings and everything like that were all added. All that supernatural stuff with the cars and the bottles jiggling, all that was all added after.
Yeah.
And John Houseman, that scene too. The intro. That was
added. I didn't realize that was added.
And the climax scenes with Adrienne Barbeau on top of the freaking lighthouse were all added after.
I thought they said they had some of that, but just they didn't have enough to make it like what it is now, because that sequence is great. Talk about a nice set piece. That's great. Like it's just the atmosphere created here, and it's funny because it's leisurely paced, but then when I look down, I'm like, already we're at the climax. So when I was watching it this time, I'm like, holy shit!
It's not that it's slow; it's just happens to be an atmospheric slow burn film.
Yeah,
it builds, but well, you get enough.
All-star cast.
You get enough. I mean, shit sort of hits the fan very, very early on, but it's got a rhythm to it, and it's definitely a slower pace. There's no gore in it whatsoever, which doesn't hurt it because it's all about the atmosphere.
He wanted a PG movie when he made it, He was trying to film this as a PG movie, and then, of course, it didn't turn out that way when they added certain things and everything else, which is fine. But I completely intended on coming into this movie and saying that this is a movie that came out, it had all the components that all the great ones had, and I'm talking Halloween. Even I realized Carpenter didn't direct Halloween 2 and 3, but Halloween, The Fog, freaking Escape from New York, 1 and 2, everything. Not Christine necessarily, because Cundy wasn't there for that. The Thing. Okay, so you have all these components, producer, you have Deborah Hill, you have Carpenter, you have the soundtrack, you have all these things going on, and the actors and the people on the set. The thing is, what I intended on saying was it has all these components that all these other movies have, but I always found it a bit dull primarily in the middle. I thought that maybe they kind of forced in more characters that didn't have to be there. Like, you never see like main characters even get together until freaking like 5 minutes in. And so it was like they have this thing over here with Jamie Lee Curtis and Tom Atkins. Then you had this thing over here with Nancy Loomis and and Janet Leigh, and then you have Stevie Wayne, you have Adrienne Barbeau during her thing. You have all these things. It's almost like they put them in, okay, just to have these little pieces and say, okay, let's cast these things and then throw it together and we'll do this, and we don't spend enough time with anybody to care enough about them. But then, this is what I was going to say. I've always liked the movie, but not to the point of like, The Thing in Halloween, and Christine was always my third favorite. I just don't put it on those levels, or even Halloween 2 and 3. I liked it more. But this View, for the first time, I finally got it. And the climax, I will agree, really, really put it over for me. Like that really broke through. The last 20 minutes of that film are just phenomenal in every way. And the soundtrack, start to finish, is great. I've always wanted to say that he peaked with Halloween 2 and 3 and Christine as far as soundtrack, but this is still early. This is 81 or 80, whatever, 80 actually. It's before freaking the other ones, and it's top notch here.
I lifted it for one of my student films. I not student films. I think just films I made when I was like 17 or whatever like that. Just ship films. I love this score. I lifted it for the final credits because I thought it was great.
It is great, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's subtle too. It's not in your face. It really fits with the feel of the film. Very surreal, dreamlike feel throughout. I mean, the shots of the water, the fog. I mean, just absolutely terrifying and eerie.
Which is great. They open with that quote from Edgar Allan Poe of I didn't write it down, but what is life but a dream within a dream or something?
Dream
like that.
within a dream,
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah.
Dream a little dream, sweetheart.
Yeah, with Corey Feldman, Dream a Little Dream. I think that's what.
Was that Edgar Allan Poe or Edgar Allan Poe?
You heard that too?
Did I say Poe?
Edgar Allan Poe.
I didn't say Poe. I gotta go back. I did not say Poe.
I would
It's
love
okay.
to
It wasn't
ride.
as bad as what Jeremy said.
I would love to ride Edgar Allan's pole.
I definitely
Jeremy
did not
called
say
it
Pole
Elder.
because if I said it, it was because I said it quick. Because I actually make a joke about that in another movie I made, which is someone mispronouncing his name. So I don't, unless it was just me saying it quick.
Subconsciously, you were thinking of Edgar Allan Poe. That's why you said it.
Oh,
It could be a toy at a kid's party.
yeah.
Everybody gather around the Edgar Allan Poe. Everybody grab a string. We got a raven over here. We got this here.
We got a rape.
A heart, a hellbound heart, not a hellbound heart. Damn it, what's it called? The heart.
Telltale.
A telltale heart over here.
Telltale heart. I couldn't even say it. It's the same word. Telltale.
Nobody can talk today. Okay, but anyway, what a great movie. I really this viewing. I'm glad it happened finally, and it happened for this show.
I
might watch it again in October.
I don't think I've seen this film as many times as a lot of people. So this might have only been like a third view for me.
Oh wow!
And I've never been like super high on it, but I don't think I've ever really. It almost felt like a first time watching again and really paying attention to the story. And I'm a sucker for a good story, and this really just develops well. It just gives you the background, 1880, the whole story, the Elizabeth Dane, Spivey Point, Antonio Bay, the conspirators and the lepers who wanted to colonize close by, and Father Malone leading this group to set the fake fire. It's really well developed. There's a lot of depth to the story, but it's very easy to follow and understand. I just think with the 6 conspirators, you could have had each of the 6 victims now be descendants.
That would have been cool, but it would have been too much.
Maybe.
It would have been a 2-hour movie. I guess you could have put him, and then you got more characters.
No, I don't want a 2-hour movie. I don't want a 2-hour movie. Forget that.
And that's the thing. And he wrote in a part. He wanted Jamie Lee Curtis because what happened with Jamie Lee Curtis was she was in Halloween, and then it wasn't a hit immediately. Like it took 6 months, and then word of mouth, and somebody changed a review, and it got popular. Mm-hmm. And then all she did was she did a TV movie, and then she did a spot on the Love Boat with her mother, and she was going nowhere. And he talked to her because basically he was splitting up with Deborah Hill, okay? Because by this point he's with Adrienne Barbeau. So he's splitting up with Deborah Hill, and because they were like 11 years older than Jamie Lee. They called her over to their house to tell them. It was almost like we're parents breaking up and we want to have a sit down and tell you, listen, because they kept in touch. So they got together. They called her over the house. They said, we're going to be getting a divorce. And they called her over just to tell her that. And then they felt bad about that. And he wanted to have a part for her in the fall because, he felt she's a good actress. I want to give her another, but she's not going anywhere. This is happening. So he created a role so she could be in this movie. So
it was really well worked in. Her characters, sort of, just traveling the world. She comes from money, just sort of traveling, trying to make it on her own, and just meets up with Nick.
I like that. Are you a weirdo?
Nick Castle.
Are you weird?
Yeah.
Nick Castle.
Are you
I am. Yeah. Are you weird? Yeah. Yeah, I am. And he's like, oh, thank God. Great.
It's great. Oh yeah, Nick Castle, and they use the name Nick Castle, Dan O'Bannon, and what's the other name?
Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah.
I want to choke the fucking life out of you.
And did you know Adrienne Barbeau? Speaking of that whole situation, Adrienne Barbeau was in Someone's Watching Me with Carpenter. Carpenter did After Halloween, made for TV, and he met her on that set. And she's in the movie. Well, he called her and said, I wrote a part specifically for you to be in this movie I'm writing called The Fog. So the way I'm looking at it, this guy is smart because I would have done the same thing. If I was a guy and I met like Angelina Jolie after she only did one movie, I would write something and say, hey, I'm going to try to date this woman. I'm going to tell her I wrote her a part. She's just starting out as an actress. Maybe I can seduce her. Sure enough, it happened. She got her. They started dating. They end up getting married. They're freaking married as they're filming this movie. But isn't that something to think that Deborah Hill's on the set? She's the producer. His ex-wife, John Carpenter, and his new wife is an actress in the movie. And like Jamie Lee was talking about it, and she thought it was going to be uncomfortable because she got to be good buddies with Deborah Hill. They were like hanging out and whatnot. And there's a good interview with her on the Scream Factory. You never see her talk about these movies. You see her, but it's a 23 minute thing, and she talks about everything she did in horror and how after I did this, she did Prom Night and Terror Train, and she talked about how they were filmed in Canada, and you had to have two. You could only have two American actors on it. It was part of the deal, but you can film in Canada on the cheap and everything else. So she was talking about all, and she says she doesn't like this movie. And she says, I apologize, John Carpenter. She goes, it's just this movie was I don't think this is a good movie. She gave her honest opinion. She loves Halloween. She even loves Halloween too. And she was talking about the different ones she was in, and she says Prom Night was Prom Night. I didn't get a read on that. And then she said Terror Train was like, she goes, it wasn't very good. And she goes, she goes, it was okay. You know what I mean? But it was cool to have her. You always hear her never talking about her Scream Queen years, and she has this little bit. I don't know if anybody else watched it on the special features, but there's a 20-minute thing with Cundy. There's a 20-minute thing with Jamie Lee.
I listened
and then
to
there's a couple other ones.
I thought he was a little bit too Cundy. He was very condescending.
Oh,
Jamie Lee and I have the same view on Terror Train. It's all right.
Yeah.
Everyone blows that film.
Same with me.
All right.
Yeah. It's okay.
Yeah, I lowered it a bit. It is okay.
I want to see the opening credits. I like how John Carpenter kind of aped his Halloween, where it was a two-tone. Halloween has the orange red, and this one had the white and blue.
Yeah.
The white and blue. I thought that was cool. And John Carpenter's acting, impeccable. His timing is absolutely I don't know why he wasn't in more movies.
What was his name in this? Bennett?
Yeah, and I don't know why he got stiffed. Why did the guy? He asked him for money. He goes, "Hey, can I get paid?" And then, instead of
no, he said
paid,
this. He goes,
okay.
"Father, can I get paid today?"
Right.
Something like that. It was so bad.
But he blows it off, and he tells him, "Tomorrow, come in 2 hours. Come in at 6 instead of 4."
Yeah.
So in lieu of pay, he's letting him worse. He's letting him start work later the next day. That was gonna.
I think he's kind of saying like, "Oh, we really don't have any money. I can't pay you, and I don't want you to work as much tomorrow because I'm low on funds." Fucking chip a little bit off the cross for him. Fucking scrape a little bit off the top.
Or give me that bottle you're about to reach for there, Padre.
And what a cast, man! Wow, everybody. I mean, just great stuff. Great cast.
It is a great cast.
Great cast.
You feel at home.
atmospheric. That's it. You feel at home? Did you say?
You feel at home with them. They're John Carpenter. They're horror actors. There's a comfort there, especially if you're like into that whole thing.
It's his stable. It's like Adam
Yes.
Sandler before Adam Sandler.
Well,
He was the original Adam Sandler, working with all his same people.
I like that though. I didn't realize how many movies they actually all worked on.
Yeah.
Until more recently, and it's great that they had that sort of like entourage. But like, I don't know what it is with the picks that we've had this year that were on the list, because I've watched. There's a bunch of movies that we're going to be coming up to that I've already watched this year. So like, it started with the Saw series. I'd watched the whole series. We did that. I watched this April 21st because that's when it takes place. So it seems like that's when everybody cracks this one out. So I watched this movie then, and then we watched it again. So like, it follows. I think I watched already this year, and there's a couple of other ones too coming up that I've already done. So it's just very interesting that I don't know, maybe because they are some of our favorites and that's where they landed on the list. But it's just going to be a year. Yeah. So it's interesting. But I've watched this twice this year already, and it's great. I thought that when I watched it earlier this year, I don't think this movie gets as much credit. I think it does more so now. But it's grown over the years. I think same like Brandon mentions Halloween 3. I think that was shit on back in the day, and that's gotten more credit over the years.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this one's grown on me. I really love the attention to detail. I love Adrienne Barbeau's character in this. I find her very soothing. I find it's a unique way for her to sort of narrate almost the film by being this radio host. Because she's the one basically communicating everything that's going on. She's getting all her information from Charlie Cyphers, who's playing Dan the Weatherman, and I like their play. I like that relation. I like the play between them two, and I love the fog blowing against the wind. Obviously, that doesn't make sense. The whole scene with the seagrass, and then you see the Elizabeth Dane
awesome.
Right. Oh my God, that's
scary.
That's scary. Yeah, very scary.
Yes,
very scary. And 12-1 belongs to the dead. And when Tom Atkins, when Nick, it's like right at 1 o'clock when he opens that front door, when he hears the knock and he's about to get killed, but it's just passes 1 o'clock. Yeah. So they retreat till the next day.
That scene was great.
Fantastic.
Good suspense. Scary shit. The fog effects are great. Again, when you see the documentary and how they had to create them, that's what we're talking. There was just a post recently. I don't know if it was on our Patreon page or if on our regular page, talking about like what difference does it make between like these really high budget movies that look like shit and some lower budget movies. And like sometimes it's just the heart. This one had it had a talented director. You had Dean Cundey as a talented director of photography, and you had people that just wanted to create, like they're working with next to nothing or a very low budget, so they have to be creative, and the way they came up with how to do the fog effects was awesome.
I wouldn't even I saw that question, and it's interesting. I wouldn't even compare it to Marvel movies because I'm not a diehard comic book fan, but I tend to enjoy those movies. But I would compare it to today's lower budget films. Why don't they have this grander look? Why aren't they copying the techniques that were used back then to create this sort of?
Because you could do everything in computer now. So like what's happened is a lot of things are being done in computer. So it's digital being made on digital. Yep. It's always just going through a computer. The film has this look to it, and we can emulate it, but it's not the exact same. And by doing that, like you could just keep filming right now. There's no harm in just keeping the cameras rolling but there it's film. Like it costs money. You have to process it. You have to do everything. So there's a bit of an art.
The Fox budget was $1 million, it says, which is it was just certainly not a lot of money. But if you told me this film had a budget of $10 million, I wouldn't bat an eyelash. I would believe you, because it has a look. It has such a great look to it, and it feels grand.
For sure.
Yeah, it does. And Cundey was talking about that in his interview. He was saying what you'll do on a set that has a limited budget. He goes, to see what we did. He goes, and I've worked on, I've worked with 10 so much more budget films, but these are the ones that impress me. He goes, because if you have a good filmmaker like a Carpenter that has a vision and you're dedicated to do something and come up with things, it can end up being even better when you look back on it. In retrospect, to watch this movie knowing that it was made for just under $1 million or whatever he said, is great. He goes, I'm watching this movie and I'm seeing this and the fog rolling in. And he talks about how they did that and just, well, again, Cundy and the way he shoots his films too. I mean, with the wide, you know what I mean? It's what they were doing back then. That was a staple for those movies. It was right up until Christine. But he didn't do Christine, but he did, you know, the other ones that I mentioned, the three Halloweens, Escape from New York, and this, and in The Thing. You know, and they all have that look. And like they even had the font in this one that was kind of like Halloween. Did you notice? It was what a follow-up too to go with Ghosts. I mean, after making Halloween a slasher, and so okay, let's do a good old-fashioned ghost story. And he said that he was doing this first and foremost. He was trying to do something like the DC Comics, like Tales from the Crypt.
EC Comics.
Yeah, pardon me, EC Comics, dummy. Like Tales from the Crypt and Vault of Horror. Right, yeah. Before Creepshow was made, he was trying to make this like one of those tales about somebody having revenge on how they were wronged. And then you know that this actually happened? This happened in like the 17 or the 1800s, where somebody, it wasn't a leprosy thing or anything like that, but it was somebody had gold, and they did this exact trick. They were moving to this place. They were coming in, and they did the whole thing with the light, and they freaking took the light, and fog happened to roll in, and it worked out, and they crashed, and they took their gold. And it's based on something that actually happened, which is freaking insane, you know.
Yeah. It always adds an element of to the movie. I guess it adds to its atmosphere, gives it weight when you use something that happened that based on true events, but then you expand off that and create the mythology from there. So,
and it happened because he had this idea because him and Deborah Hill, they were in the UK. They took a trip and they went to Stonehenge, and they were sitting in a restaurant or something or other, and just outside or in that area, this fog rolled in, and they got into this conversation. And John says, "So what do you think is in that fog?" So if they don't go to Stonehenge, if they don't take that trip and go see that fog,
Halloween 3 doesn't happen.
Halloween 3, yeah, exactly. Is that when they took the piece of Stonehenge?
I thought about that too.
But
Stonehenge.
Look at the fog, everyone, and they grab a big
fear
rock.
of the unknown. The fear of the unknown. It's the best starting point for a horror film. Yeah. I go.
Adrian Barbeau's sort of dialogue at the end is fantastic. You know, just look, always look for the fog and, wanting it to be a dream and all that. I thought that was really terrifying. But again, the story develops well. I loved Nick's story about his father with the gold coin and how Andy now is telling his mom when he found the piece of wood that he saw it as a coin first and then it turned to the piece of wood. I mean, just really, really good storytelling here. And the journal.
Bodega Bay.
What's that?
He was talking about Bodega Bay, Nick, which is from, what do you call it? The Birds.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole thing with Hal Holbrook and reading the journal with Janet Leigh and stuff like that. Just good stuff. What's the matter, Steve?
No, I was laughing. I was thinking of Montego Bay when he said that. Singing Montego Bay. I don't know why. Again, it's the stupid shit that pops up in our heads when we're doing this show.
That's great. Well, back to Halloween 3. Did anybody else hear it? Because to me, it was unmistakable. You know that one scene when, first of all, great shot when Adrian Barbeau was walking down the steps to go to the lighthouse and they had that shot.
Amazing.
Oh, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, man. But that whole sequence is amazing. And she's going up there on the board in the water. But the voice is what I'm specifically talking about. Remember, she's listening to the tape of the promos? KAB 1430 or whatever it is, or 1340.
Sounds
Number
like
one.
The Halloween commercial in part 3?
I guarantee that's Tommy Lee Wallace doing that because he did it in Halloween 3 as well.
It must
yes.
be, yeah. For sure.
So cool.
Yeah. I like finding out that they filmed dude at the beginning. I forgot his name. I apologize.
Houseman?
Houseman. In a soundstage, yeah.
Yeah. Isn't that nuts?
That's what we're talking about. You put a little backdrop there, you light them, it looks like a fire, and boom, they just film him telling the story. Beautiful.
It's awesome. But who would do that? Would you let your children? It's like 25-year-old kids and one old man fucking hanging out together 5 minutes to midnight on a random night.
I know, but oh well, yeah.
I know. I just found it funny. That is a great intro, though. You can't take anything away from that. You know, his voice, the way he delivers the whole thing. 11:55. Oh, he's great.
I'm interested for the 4K release of this. I have the DVD.
Is it coming?
Well, they do have one. Again, a German company released one a couple years ago that you can get. But I mean, I'm assuming it will come. They did. Now, when Scream Factory did their collector's edition, I was going to grab that one. But I'm just thinking now, maybe I'll wait. When they did the Steelbook, did they do the 4K scan? Because I know sometimes they did a 4K scan and sometimes they didn't.
I have the Steelbook.
Of the Fog?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Scream Factory Steelbook.
I'll look it up right now because I'm on the set. I'm on the site because I was looking at what do you call it earlier.
I love Steelbooks. I don't know.
So do I.
A lot of people don't. I love them. I think they look awesome.
Yeah, I do too.
I'm a big Steelbook guy.
The Fog Steelbook collectors. The video is only a 3.5 rating. Wow, it's going for $80 now. That shit sold right out, huh?
Really? Oh, maybe I'll sell it.
It was on for $19.99 on the site of this Canadian site I was going to. So I tried to pre-order or order it. I'm like, I don't think you can get it anymore. The guy's like, no, if it's on our site, you should still be able to get it. I'm like, okay. I don't know why you've got the regular collector's version there for $29.99 and the Steelbook for $19.99. But I'll order the Steelbook. But he couldn't get it back in. So they must have had a promo right before it went out. I was so mad.
Doesn't look like they changed anything here. It doesn't say anything about
I don't think they did.
4K.
The look definitely didn't look like it was 4K scanned. But I don't know. I think it looks good enough. Look, I'll buy 4K films, but I don't feel the need to upgrade everything that I already have on Blu-ray. Blu-ray's
not if they're going to be a ridiculous price. I told you I put some DVDs on. They look fine.
Yes.
They look fine.
Yes.
Certain ones look fine.
Some do. Yeah, some do. It just depends. Right. Some DVDs look good. Some Blu-rays look better than some 4Ks. Like I was talking about that Descent Blu-ray. That Descent Blu-ray, no question, looks better than a couple of my 4Ks that I have. And the House of a Thousand Corpses Blu-ray looks phenomenal. It just happens that way sometimes. And sometimes 4Ks are bullshit. They're not really. They're upscaled.
A lot of people say that's their best Blu-ray, The House of a Thousand Corpses, which was a very early Blu-ray, and a lot of people still rave that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just 1080p transfer, supervised. But I've read a couple of articles. If you just Google and research a little bit, read articles about the supervisor signed off by the director of photography. In this case, Dean Cundey. He did it for the thing for Scream Factory, and he did it for Arrow, but they both look different. So someone's like, well, wouldn't you think the director of photography would have a little bit more say in it? I don't know if I already voiced this argument on the show last episode or not, but it just is weird that a movie could have like that he did and he's supervising will have two sort of different looks to it. You figure,
right?
It's just interesting. And
well, just like the Halloween, how you got the different, there's the Cundy approved one, which I have that one, and then there's different ones, different Blu-ray cuts, and some of the colors are different, and some of the things look different. Halloween 3 now, that one's going for $60, and that is the 4K scan.
Well, that's why I got the Halloween 2 and 3 because they're 4K scans. I got those two in Steelbooks.
I haven't watched them yet. I bought them over the past year.
I keep looking back, but they're upstairs.
I'm not going to watch them. This October for
Where's
sure.
Goosebumps?
I'm really excited.
It's I'll bend over. I'll show you. Firmly planted.
I got goosebumps on the ass.
On the ass.
Anyway, did we rate this? I don't even know if we did.
I don't even think we finished talking about it.
We didn't finish talking about it. What's a stomach pounder? Anybody?
Oh, I have the same question. It's in my notes. What the hell's a stomach pounder?
See, is it a Canadian thing?
I have no clue.
Is it an Antonio Bay thing? Is it an Edgar Allan Poe thing? Let's look it up. I'll look it up while you guys.
I'm looking it up. I was looking up right now.
Oh, you are looking up?
How about
it's funny because there's a Twitter thing. Someone asked him, and he goes, "A stomach pounder is a phys ed exercise."
Well, why would he ask for one? A Coke and a stomach pounder.
What's a stomach pounder? There's a lot of actual questions about this. What's a stomach pounder? The Fog. During the scene when Andy's walking, or perhaps I heard, no, that was just him asking the question. There isn't really an answer to this. Basically just a made-up term. People have theorized. Tommy Lee Wallace claims it's a gym exercise, not a food item.
What?
So
if you're gonna drink a Coke, you're gonna have to do a stomach pounder after. Okay, well there you go.
However,
I want no fat kids.
in one of the Halloween sequels, maybe they did this as a joke.
It's a
stomach
thick drink.
Yeah, a thick drink.
A thick drink?
Yeah, like the cum that you drank last night. That you
That's
gargled.
what a stomach pounder is?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So he wants 2 drinks, a Coke and another thick drink. Oh, that sounds like a lot. I don't know. You see, they mentioned the that band, the freaking what are they called? What's the name of the band with John Carpenter and Nick Castle? The oh, for Christ's sakes! How do you guys not know this? Well, I don't know either. Who am I talking about?
Yeah.
Either way, whatever.
We're testing you.
I knew it at one point. I usually know it, but at the top of it's not there. But they mentioned the band.
The Carpenter.
The Electric Shoes.
No.
Not the Electric Shoes?
No, not that. Nope. How about Dick Baxter? They mentioned him. I saw Dick Baxter, the guy said from Halloween. He grew up a couple years later and he's dead. He got a job in the shipping industry, or he's a boater or a fisherman or something like that. Poor bastard. All he had to do was date freaking Laurie Strode, and everything would have turned out different for him. He would have stayed in Haddonfield.
You don't think he's going to show up in the sequel next year?
He probably will at this rate.
Dick bastard.
Was he the one who fell on her?
Well, I think so, and that's what I was going to say. What a scream. She really is the scream queen, and I didn't mention it at the prom night, but I thought about it when I was watching. When she does all the screams in Halloween, part 1 specifically, and then we see her doing it in prom night, and then here, she really she's a great screamer. She has a great shriek for freaking somebody that's scared. Man.
I didn't go shriek.
That has 2 good scares. You get the teaser scare when the kind of the filing cabinet opens and the maps fall out and whatnot, and then the dead body falls on top of her. Great.
Yeah.
And that morgue scene is fantastic too.
Oh, that was added in.
Yeah.
That's a cool scene though. It's like a warning. 3 more.
Yes, it is cool. Yeah.
I like that.
Pretty much everything they added I like. I'm not so sure about the Close Encounter stuff at the beginning. That's what always reminded me of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, when everything's going wire and shit. It just seems odd that Ghost would just that's because I've seen Close Encounters first, I guess. When I
you mean the cars? I thought you meant the look of the cars with their lights going on, the horns going, and everything else.
Remember when they're in that shop and things are shaking and shit?
I understand the whole thing. The whole thing.
Alien to me.
Yeah, it is very alien. It's definitely more alien than Ghost, but it almost felt like Maximum Overdrive. Like things are about to go crazy and become alive.
But when I picture ghosts, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it is. You're right. It definitely feels more spacey. They could have just had random scenes like the kid cleaning up in the grocery store, random scenes of them being killed and dragged away by the lepers. It could have just shown Blake and them in the shadows, because that was like my favorite part of the kills. Are actually, the kills where you see them get stabbed, even though there's no blood, they're solid. But the best kills are when they kind of lurk and pull you into the shadows, like Mrs. Cobra. It's like Dan and even Dick. He does get choked and stuff, but the way Blake or whichever leper kills him is like sort of just lurking in the background when he's talking, and he's kind of telling him like it's what's going on, and he sneaks up on him.
And a connection to the other 2 movies we talked about tonight, Glowing Eyes, which was a big thing back in the day. Yes. But some glowing eyes, so there's a connection here to the movies.
Hungry Eyes.
Yeah, how about that?
Hungry eyes.
Well, look at you and I can't describe. I got
glowing
eyes.
Or they could be singing that other song, Turn Around, Bright Eyes.
Turn Around, Glowing Eyes.
Yeah.
You know who
Every
that
now
was,
and then I fall apart, and I need you more tonight. What is that, Heart?
And I need you more than ever.
It's not Heart.
No, it's Bonnie.
Bonnie Tyler.
Tyler. Thank you.
Is that John Carpenter's band?
Okay. Do you know who Blake is played by? The leader of the pack, the lead guy, Blake.
Loomis.
No, Rob Bottin. who does the makeup on this. Yeah, you know what's weird though? It's Rob Bottin, who's apparently a pretty big guy, but when I see him standing there when he's in the church, he looks like freaking Kurt Russell. He for some reason it looks like Snake Plissken to me. I don't know why, but that
looks more like Jack Russell, Terrier.
Jack Russell, the janitor from freaking Prom Night 2.
It's this is so way past the time I should be cracking the joke. But when you said it looked spacey earlier, I almost cracked the Brandon joke. I said they could have just put Kevin Spacey in there. And then it was like such a Brandon joke that I stopped myself. But now that you brought the Jack Russell joke, I had to bring it up. You okay there? Did I make you sick through like the computer?
I muted my mic because I'm dying. Yeah, I think I caught COVID from Christian.
Oh, no.
See how these guys are?
See you there?
Next week. I'll get
See you there?
See you there? Yeah.
See you there? No punctuation whatsoever.
Yeah.
See you there?
You had to have an exclamation point or a question mark.
Or
either way.
So it would have been either "See you there" or "See you there."
Right. And no one knows what we're talking about. It's something that has to do with. Bottom line is this: use punctuation in your text, please, or your
God,
all right. Well, I guess you got to get out of here. Brandon's dying, and C's not doing too well either. So, yeah, I guess that's that. So, the climax was amazing. I'll say that again. The last 20 minutes with the kid, everything that's going on with the kid, and Stevie Wayne talking to him. Go, you know what I mean, and all that shit.
That's great. The chase on top of the lighthouse is great. Or chase, but just how she has to go there. They're all coming up. It's fantastic.
Once you said chase, I picture her running around a little.
Can't catch me, motherfucker.
She should have taken her shoes off. She had those fucking like heels on. And she's like,
oh, it's just good stuff.
It is. I like the way she narrates them to the church. The church is a cool setting.
Yes, it is.
I like the way Nick attempts to save Father Malone, pulling him off the cross like nobody else does. He's just like, he's like, let's pull this guy off the cross. He's being electrocuted here.
Now, does it bother you that all they want is gold?
They want gold and they're six.
I mean, what can they do with it? What can they do with the gold once they got it? It's not they're going to go and spend it or buy a better life.
It's like Goonies.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say One-Eyed Willie.
Yeah, it's One-Eyed Willie. Exactly.
Yeah, I get it.
Willie ain't doing shit with his gold. Why does he need booby traps all over the fucking thing?
That's for
booby
Willie.
Traps.
Oh, that again. I'll never understand that joke still. I just don't get it. That's what I said, booby traps. Okay, well, it is what you said. I don't get the joke. What's the joke? Tell me.
I don't get it either.
So why does everybody talk about it?
Because he can't pronounce the word properly. They think
he says it just fine. Booby. How is it not proper?
Maybe because you're saying booby. What is that you keep sticking in your head?
It's one of those like tire pressure things, and it has like a retractable thing, and I'm just.
Oh, okay.
Retractable penis. Oh no, detachable penis. Sorry, wrong song.
Well, it is retractable. It gets hard, and it is.
It is retractable. That'd be a toy. See, a dildo that freaking retracts. You could just pretend it's going inside you, but it's not. It's like 10 feet long. Look at this.
It's a merkin. It's a merkin.
Yeah, jerking the merkin.
It's a retractable merkin. Well, that's.
Could you use a merkin as a fake mustache? You think it sounds like it'd be about the same size?
Probably smell really bad.
Goatee. Wow.
Not used.
A used merkin. I wonder if they can sell them.
I'm gonna start instead of Blu-rays and 4Ks. I'm gonna start collecting used merkins. You should put used merkins on your shelves.
And on that note.
Yeah, sorry guys, I am starting to fade. I apologize.
Let's get out of here.
Yeah, no, I love that ending. It gives the gold, but he's still questioning why. Like, why didn't they take him? Why didn't they get their six? And then of course there they are, and it's just a very creepy, downbeat, quiet ending. It's very quiet. It is sort of like nerves. It's very nervy in that sort of quiet decapitation. I like that. I like that they didn't have any sort of like grand music playing.
Did you see the remake? Either of you?
Nope.
I haven't.
I did see it. I watched it. I've only watched it once. I remember not liking it, but I don't remember anything else about it. Is it good, Brandon?
I don't think I've seen it.
I've never heard a good word about it.
No one ever talks. I almost want to watch it again just to compare, just to see it again, just to say I did. But I know it's almost one of those universally hated remakes.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll never watch it. Nope. No, thank you. Anyway, this movie I really came up on. I'm so happy that this happened. I think I am going to watch it again during Halloween week, which, hey, by the way, next show will be in October, so yippee. But yeah, I came up. Once upon a time, it would have been like an 8 out of 10. Now I'm up to a 9.
Cool. I'm actually 9.5. It's actually one of my favorite of his horror films. Obviously, The Thing is my all-time favorite, but it's great, and it's definitely grown on me, as I said earlier as well. I probably was maybe more of a 7.5, if that. Like, it just, I liked it. I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was up to the other John Carpenter films that I saw at the time, and now I think it's right up there. So,
yeah, and I'm 8.5 out of 10, so right there with
Cool.
you guys. Just one question: if he had returned the gold earlier in the film, if he had called for Blake and said, "Here's the gold," would they have just killed him and not killed 6? Or do they need 6 to make up for the 6 conspirators?
Wow. Good question. Maybe they need 6. Or maybe they were going to come and they were going to take 6, that girl from Blossom.
I love 6 from Blossom. Jenna Von Oy?
Too.
Jenna Von
Yeah.
Oy.
I had a crush on her back then,
Yeah,
too.
me too.
Yeah. And I dated a girl.
I barely ever watched that show. I can't say I've never seen it.
I watched it for her. Just for her. I saw her in passing. I said, I'm going to watch this show for this person.
Wow.
Anyway, I don't know. Good question, though. Hard to say. Maybe if they were calmed down.
Well, that's why I feel like he gets killed. Maybe not even so much because they need to fill their quota of killing the 6, but because he is the one true descendant of the ringleader of the conspirators, and also the fact that he knew about the gold the whole time. It's not like they discover it. He's like, wait here, and he goes through the door and then he's dragging the big gold cross. So it's almost like he's responsible for everyone getting
wait here
killed.
a second, yeah.
Yeah, and then he's dragging. It's not
He
like
doesn't
they're.
know.
No, but he does know. He pulls the cross right out.
That cross was huge. Jesus could fit on that fucking thing.
No, but what I'm saying
know.
is, it's not like they discovered it in the walls or anything.
He doesn't know they want the gold until that time comes. That's what I'm trying to say.
But he's reading the journal throughout, so I'm wondering if maybe.
Oh, so
he
he's
had
just
an
going to
idea.
assume it? Well, people are dying and there's fog because this happened. I don't know. That's a lot to come up with, don't you
Well,
think?
he had the whole story about it. About
I know, but he's going to think that that a few things are happening. It must be murders because these ghosts want this gold. You know what I mean? Why would he deduct that? Because
Well, no, he deducted because he has the journal.
I get that, but just because he found that information, why does that mean that he's living in this church? How does he know what's happening outside? That the fog means that these people are getting whacked. He just knows that the anniversary's coming, and he's discovered this thing, and he's like, "Oh
Yeah.
man, I just found out that this place was formed on false pretense. That they're freaking they did this. He just found this out.
Yeah, it all comes to fruition at the end, I think.
But doesn't he say at the end, why didn't they take their 6th?
He said, "I'm the 6th. Take
Yeah.
me." Right. By then,
Yeah,
he
I'm
knew
the
it was
so he
6
knows.
murders.
Yeah.
Because there was discussion by that point in the church, and they were talking about the people that had been whacked. This happened. This happened. This happened.
Yeah. Oh,
You know
yeah.
what I mean?
I love the way they just immediately like Mrs. Cobert's number 5. Like, didn't you notice when they came to
Right.
rescue Andy, they didn't even ask where Mrs. Cobert's is. They
Because
just
she
grabbed. She did suck, but they just grabbed him. They're not like, where's Cobert's? Like, no, like the fog got her. Like, it's just later in the church, Andy's like, oh yeah, Mrs. Cobert's is dead.
I don't know. They should have been looking for Colbert's guy.
They should have. Oh my God! They should have had John Carpenter come back for his pay, and he was a 6th. Hey, hey, Father, can I get that paid out now?
No, they should have had Blake take out his sword and cut that mustache right off of him. Cut
Yeah, what happened to Bennett? You're right. Bennett never came back.
He went home to drink.
They should have had. Yeah, they should have had an ending with
down
him.
A drink. John Carpenter in 1980 turning down a drink. I doubt that. He was writing the script for Halloween too. What do you mean? Oh, jeez.
Oh, good. Well, another movie that averaged up to 27. That's pretty darn good.
It sure is. And next show will be
added up.
Added up, isn't that what you said?
I said averaged out, but if you average out a rating,
it actually averaged out to 9.
Yeah,
but
there you go,
Mr. Edgar Allan Poe over here.
Oh, Ghost Dad, but the bitch on the phone. Wait, hold on a second, everybody.
Jesus.
This doesn't happen. It's gonna happen once a show. Where'd he go?
I had to play. Look, he's gonna probably. I think he bought Ghost Dad. He's probably gonna. He's gonna hate this fucking movie.
He bought it.
He bought it. I think, a Family Video. I think he went to get it.
There it is.
Oh.
There it is.
Is that the collector's edition?
Collector's edition?
The penitentiary edition? where Bill Cosby does his yeah.
You're never going to be able to get your hands on this again. That I truly believe. Just like the Bad News Bears, the original.
That's what all the women said to Bill Cosby.
Yeah. Did you know that he swore at the freaking thing?
Yeah.
When they were and the guy said something that he had a plane or something, that he had his own jet and he's probably going to take, and he said something about the prosecutor and he goes, well, I forgot, I'll tell you next show. Something about that he cursed in court though. And he goes, you asshole.
Is that the I'm Getting Sleepy edition of Ghosted? This drink tastes funny edition?
What's in this pudding pop edition?
Does he have an Asian daughter in this movie?
No, she's black, but she probably,
look at that.
Yeah, she kind of looks a little Asian.
Oh.
What? You know,
she looks like she'd be in Ju-on. That's crazy. Wow. Well, either way. So next show we're gonna. Next show it's October. I'll give you the October lineup quick. The next show, The Lodge, It Follows, and Oculus. Right after that, It Chapter 1 and 2 and Host. And then right after that, the one we were talking about earlier, Fright Night, The Dead Zone, and Wax Works.
Ooh, that's
what was
good
It Chapter 1 and 2 and what?
Host. The hour-long movie that was made over the internet.
So it works out. 2 long ones and a shorty.
Yeah, no, that's actually a good pair for
and
those
then
two.
Fright Night and what was it?
Dead Zone and Waxworks.
I tried to do some pairings. I jiggled it around. I told everybody.
Jiggled it around.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because you don't want to. We got to make it with.
Did you confirm if it was Waxwork or Waxworks?
I'm the one that put the movie in the first place. The movie I chose. Isn't that the original one? I call it Waxworks. So I think I do usually.
What's it called? Waxwork or Waxworks?
Waxwork.
No, is it?
Yeah.
Hold on. Let's see. Is there a Waxwork and a Waxworks?
Yes.
I don't believe you.
We already checked this last show. You believe me?
No,
believe me all you like.
Hold the fuck. Listen. 1988. It's Waxwork. Okay.
Yeah.
The only movie called Waxworks that I see anywhere is from 1924. So
no, it's another one that Brandon looked up. It goes by a different title. And
The House of Blood. Yeah. Nobody calls it that.
Okay, well, but calling it Waxworks, it's not Waxwork. It's like my wife when she used to call it Blockbusters.
No, it is Waxwork. It's not Waxworks. You're like, by calling it Waxworks, it's not Waxwork.
It's Waxwork. Yes, Waxwork. And if you want to get picky about it, if you look at the trivia, I think the original title for this was Waxwork as well. I'm talking about the House.
In the Karate Kid, originally, Mr. Miyagi said "wax on, wax off."
Yeah.
He did.
And I say, fuck you. That's as colorful as I get.
Wow. I guess we better end the show on that. Wow.
No, sorry.
He's getting upset. Poor bastard.
Who's getting upset?
Yeah.
Sorry, I spaced out.
That's okay.
I think Brandon's dying too.
I think I'm getting sick all of a sudden. I'm not feeling well.
You've been looking at me all show. It's just
Jesus. Look at this sweaty bastard. He ghosted at me too.
Well, you better go to the store, get a coffee, and make sure you put some fresh creme west in it.
Creme Fraiche West. That was my favorite, Creme Fraiche West.
It always reminds you of like a cream or something.
Well, Creme Fraiche is like a sour cream that they add in like soups. That's what creme fraiche is.
Is
Yeah.
that why he
That's
called it
That's why I think your dad said creme fraiche at first. Yeah, it is. It's like a thickening agent for like soups. It's like a sour cream.
I just thought it was something he came up with just out of bad memory.
No, creme fraiche.
Creme fraiche. It is something.
Yeah, it's spelled like Fraich, creme fraiche.
And that, folks, is the signification
Yeah.
that part's over. Turn out the lights. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. So put on some other podcast, I guess, because we're out of here. Christian says so. So thank you, everyone. We love you more than you'll ever know. And we'll see you in October.
We love you long time.
Yeah. Thank you.